captains making their way out to the midfield logo for the coin toss as the players have taken their respective sides of the field. Defense, such an important part of the history of the Ravens, such an important part of the future of this 2012 season. And it starts this year with the back end. John Harbaugh believes he might have the best secondary he's ever assembled as the Ravens head coach. And it is creating a culture that the young defensive backs, like fifth-round draft pick Asa Jackson, are buying into early.
Him and Ladarius watch a lot of film. So, you know, getting with those guys and all the other vets at my position, you know, those are the guys that I try to, you know, hang out with when I'm not at the facility, because they'll tell you little tips and hints sometimes why they do things that they do on the field that, you know, may not be in, you know, the exact scheme of the defense, but it helps them make plays. So yeah, getting with those guys and then learning how to study film is something that I, you know, still need a little work on, because it's different to me. So getting with those guys has really helped me in both those respects.
Asa Jackson looking to become the next impact player in that Ravens secondary. And last year, guys, we saw an awful lot of impact from the veterans in this group. Of course, Ed Reed is at the very center of the storm when you talk the backside of the Ravens defense.
Well, you also look at, you know, Lardarius Webb being a guy who didn't give up a touchdown pass all of last year. Had a chance to talk with him this preseason. He's excited more than ever to improve upon, you know, a very strong year last year. I loved how he, you know, took it upon himself to really help himself in terms of making sure everybody understands their position. That's something that I look at when you're seeing Lardarius Webb.
You look at the numbers this defense produced. I mentioned Ed Reed. You think about him as the ball theft, but look at the tackles as well. 8th straight Pro Bowl. Bernard Pollard, big hitter. Q, I think last year he showed he's also a pretty good coverage guy too.
Extremely good cover guy. You talk about a guy who understands, you know, how to put himself in position to make some plays. I think that this secondary is a very good veteran secondary that can make some strong big plays for this team.
Ravens won the opening toss and will receive. Jacoby Jones is deep, awaiting the kick from Josh Scobie. Scobie, the veteran kicker for the Jags, footed to the ball, and we are underway in week 3 of the preseason. And Jacoby Jones cannot keep the ball in play, so a touchback right out of the gate for the Ravens here as Joe Flacco and the offense come trotting onto the field. Joe Flacco, the unflappable Joe Flacco. He is as even keel in preseason as in the playoffs. And I think here in year 5, you're looking at a guy who will move into, if not the top 5, the top 7, top 8, clearly the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL.
I don't think there's any doubt. His winning percentage, he's won as many games as anybody in the league except for maybe Drew Brees. So he's up there.
Ray Rice alone in the backfield as Flacco will throw on first down. Good protection and a perfect strike across the 30-yard line, a 13-yard gain as the Ravens move the chains. And Billy Badgema comes up with the first reception of the night. Rice in the backfield with Vontae Leach, Bolden Smith, and Badgema at the receiving corps. And up front, McKinney is back at left tackle. That puts Michael Orr at right tackle. Matt Burke will anchor it at center. Kelechi Osemele is at one guard spot. Bobby Williams, the veteran, at the other. On first down, Flacco to throw. Again, great protection. And Flacco comes near side across the 50 to Anquan Bolden. And that's for 18 yards. Back-to-back first down throws for Joe Flacco.
Back-to-back accurate passes by Joe Flacco. Joe is very comfortable in this no-huddle offense, making sure that he sees the right read and knowing where he wants to deliver the football. Nice throw, nice pitch and catch to Anquan Bolden.
First running play of the game, Ray Rice dances his way through the line, picked up a couple down to the Jacksonville 47, gain of 2, where Russell Allen brings him to a stop.
Yeah, Ray sure likes to run behind Vontae Leach, doesn't he? I would too if I was running back. But I think he carried the ball, of the 290 carries last year, 210 right around that area were with Vontae Leach in front of him.
Ravens quickly to the line. This has been the tempo Cam Cameron has tried to establish throughout preseason. Off the play fake. Flacco buying himself some time and finds Badgema down at the 40-yard line, just shy of the first down.
How about this? You talk about Vontae Leach, and when he's in there, it is a scenario where it's a predictable run look, but Cam Cameron knows that he can have the juggernaut that I like to call Vontae in there and still throw passes. What a great block he threw to get Joe a little extra time for Badgema to get open.
First third down opportunity for the offense. Vontae Leach will get the carry, but whistle's blown prior to the snap. And it looks like a false start on the Ravens.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
That's a Cardinal sin right there. You know, wide receiver out there.
And a fullback dive, huh?
Man, yeah. Well, you're supposed to just watch the football as a receiver, and Anquan is highly upset that they would even dare call him for a false start.
Keep in mind, it's the replacement referees making the call. Jim Winterberg getting an earful from Anquan Bolden. It changes the call for the Ravens offense on 3rd down and 6. Flacco out of the shotgun. Lost at the far sideline, and Torrey Smith cannot run under it at the 10-yard line. Rasheed Mathis was on the coverage, and what had shaped up as a very strong opening drive runs out of gas shy of field goal range, so Sam Cook will come on to punt the ball away.
I think Joe knows he had an opportunity to make the play down the field. He just didn't get it out to his speedy wide receiver, but he also had, on the option route, he had a strong opportunity to get the first down to Anquan Bolden.
Mike Thomas awaiting the Sam Cook punt. And Sam Cook with the high end-over-end punt, trying to back it up, but instead he just drops it right into the hands of Corey Graham at the 5-yard line. A 40-yard punt, and Sam Cook gets the job done. Jaguars offense heading onto the field for the first time when we get back to M&T Bank Stadium on the Ravens Game Day Network. Scoreless at M&T. Good start for Joe Flacco, but did not finish the drive. We turn our attention to defense. Stan, give us your Lexus keys to the game.
Well, number one's communication. John Harbaugh's talked about this. They got all the regulars out there together. So the back 7, the front 7, the defensive corners and safeties, they get to communicate. They got to tackle better. And, of course, they got to tighten the coverage up a little bit.
Blaine Gabbert, quarterback for the Jags. Former first-round draft pick, now in his 2nd season. Rashad Jennings, the lone back. Gabbert on 1st down, quick release, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Greg Jones, and he released it a little too early. So the defensive front line, Terrence Cody gets the start tonight. He's been competing with Maka Kimoatu, Nada, and Jones, the bookends. The new edge, Albert McClellan, appears to have that edge in the rush linebacker position. Paul Kruger is at Sam, and in the secondary, same as it ever was last year. Ed Reed, Bernard Pollard at safety, like Darius Webb, Terry Williams are the starting corners. On 2nd and 10. Gabbert to the run game. Jones tries to pick his way through a crowd, and he's not going to have much luck there as he runs into Ray Lewis in the teeth of that Ravens defense. Rashad Jennings with a gain of a couple. It sets up a 3rd down and 8 for Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, no doubt. 3rd and 8. You got them inside their own 10-yard line. Here's the big stop. You know, they can force a punt here. They get a good chance of coming up with points.
Blaine Gabbert a year ago, a little more than 2,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The knock on Gabbert is he would not stay in the pocket when he had pressure. He was a quarterback as a rookie who would bail on pressure. See what he does on 3rd down and 8. Gabbert to throw from the end zone. His pass is caught for a first down at the 20-yard line as the first-round draft pick Justin Blackmon moves the chains for Jacksonville.
That's 3rd down. You got to get out of. That's where you want to get off the field. Very similar to what happened to Atlanta on the first 3rd down. They threw a little curl in front of the corner. This time Jimmy Smith, and it kept the drive alive, and they went all the way down and scored. 3rd down is the key to getting off the field.
Jimmy Smith came in the 5 defensive back package. A week ago, he was covering Megatron. Now he tries to pick up Justin Blackmon. He's been busy with the secondary. 1st and 10 to Jacksonville. And the give is to Jennings. Jennings looking for an opening. Gets across the 25, out to the 28-yard line. A gain of 5 on 1st down. Ladarius Webb with the tackle.
Going back to Jimmy Smith, I think he has had a good camp, but I think the back spasms has kind of slowed him up a bit as far as just his learning process and getting the nuance of the game down for him to play better at cornerback.
They didn't have it last year with the lockout, and this year it's been on and off.
Gabbert under center on 2nd down and 5. Looking at a 4-man front from the Ravens defense that shows no blitz. Gives to Jennings running right, tries to get around the edge, and Abbott McClellan gets his hands on him. Before Jameel McClain can finish him off. All right, Stan, there's an edge play. How did he do?
Well, did great because he squeezed it down, forced him to bounce outside, and still was able to make the tackle, slowing up enough to get help from everybody else. That's exactly the way you have to play the edge.
Jared Johnson, of course, the man who became the fixture at the edge for the Ravens defense. Jared Johnson leaving in free agency, playing for San Diego now. We thought we might see the likes of Courtney Upshaw at that spot, but McClellan has had a terrific camp. On 3rd down, Gabbert throwing near sideline, and it is broken up. Terrific coverage on the play as Jimmy Smith came in and made the play and forces the punt team on for the Jags. So, guys, there's a growth spot for Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, he's not going to let it happen to him twice in a row. You know, first time shame on you, second time shame on me. You did a good job of sitting at the sticks and not allowing him to catch the ball in front of him.
And he was going against a veteran, LaRon Robinson. Brian Anger on the punt. Kobe Jones is deep. He'll feel it at the 23. Working towards his right across the 30. Far sideline, 35, and steps out of bounds just shy of the 38-yard line. No score at M&T. 9:42 to play in the opening quarter. Offense coming back when we come back on the Ravens game day. Now, Johns is teaming up with Jonathan Ogden. Order the JO special today, and $1 off every sale from this order will be donated to the Jonathan Ogden Foundation. You can order online at papajohns.com. J.O. really does deliver, not only for Papa John's, J.O. delivers for us. He's in the booth. J.O., how are you, buddy?
Teammate, what's going on?
What did you bring us?
Yeah, what did you bring
us?
Well,
this is classic. Look at the pizza. J.O. brought us one slice.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
and
the rest of it.
6 crusts.
Wow.
I got a little hungry waiting for you guys.
So now you got Papa John's and Papa Jonathan.
That's
so,
right, baby.
Yeah.
Anything
I
at
got
number
you guys
2?
a full one so you guys can have something.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we are going to, okay, look, wow, yes, that's good.
there you
Luscious.
J.O. to go. Is that classic?
Luscious pepperoni.
You know, the more you can do. You know,
All you can do.
You always have been a growing man. Tell us a little bit about the Jonathan Ogden Foundation.
Well, you know, I work with at-risk kids in the city, tutoring programs, college visits, just things to help get them out of the city, show them that there's something else outside of inner city Baltimore. And we probably helped get 100 kids in college over the last 12 years. So, oh, there you go.
Back to the action. Ray Rice breaking a long run off of right tackle as he gets the ball into Jacksonville territory with a 28-yard gain. The kind of play you like to see, J.O.
I love seeing good running plays. I mean, that's just the way. Oh, here we go, pulling around, running behind Vontae Leach. Good job.
Yeah, good counter play. Actually, Vontae was the pulling guard on that play. They just used the fullback.
Nice
and
use, little misdirection. That's nice.
Ray Rice stays in behind Vontae Leach. Black off play action with Tom. His pass is broken up at the 20-yard line. Intended for Billy Badgema. 2nd down and 10 coming up. So, J.O., you're watching this year's Ravens team start to gel, start to come together. The offensive line has had a lot of different variables and moving pieces. What do you see up front?
Well, I see a lot of guys who are learning to really play together right now. KO's looking pretty good. Brian McKinney's coming back. You know what Yonder's going to bring, and, you know, Burke. But, you know, right now I think Mike is going to be fine in right side. I think they're going to work out. I think they're going to gel. Right now they just got to get themselves back into the flow of things.
On 2nd down and 10, Flacco off the play fake. His pass is perfect. 20-yard line. Torrey Smith with the reception, and he'll stretch the ball down close to the 17. A 13-yard gain that moves the chain.
JL, you certainly got to like the up-tempo approach that Cam Cameron is giving to Joe Flacco in this offense.
No, Joe's in control right now. They're really moving the ball. They're decisive right now. They're getting up there. They're moving. And the line's protecting. They're opening holes right now. They're in the flow.
Flacco out of the backfield finds Ray Rice with the toss. Rice starts his way inside the 10, down to the 5. Another Ravens first down.
We got the defense on their heels with this drive and continuing no huddle. What did you think of the no huddle when you were on offense?
I didn't love the no huddle, but when it's working, it's great. But sometimes when it's not quite getting in the flow, it kind of puts a lot more pressure on your own defense.
Cam Cameron looking to finish this drive off with a touchdown. Play action. Flacco in trouble. Have to unload quickly to Vontae Leach, and Leach will lose a couple of yards on the play as he is tackled back at the 7-yard line by Kyle Bosworth.
Kyle Bosworth that time, he wasn't fooled by the little misdirection run, stayed with his keys and put pressure on Joe.
Jeremy Mincy was also closing in on Joe. That's a dangerous play when you let your quarterback go out with no protection, and he turns around and there's a big body coming his way.
Boots always dangerous.
Flacco 6 of 8 on this drive, out of the gun, with time, pass to the end zone, is deflected, caught off the tip by Anquan Bolden, but out of the back of the end zone. DeJuan Landry appeared to have gotten a hand on the ball, the former Raven, interrupting what would have been a Ravens touchdown throw.
Yeah, that was a seam route, and it's a real tight, quick throw. Certainly, you got to make a quick decision on that. And Anquan, get that last digit of the phalanges, the lower phalanges down, you would have had yourself a score.
Well, you know that red zone's all about timing because the field's so condensed. You got to really make that decision quick and go with it.
That was a seven across picket fence we talked about.
They're down in 7. Flacco out of the empty backfield. Pocket collapsing, and Flacco is flung down, sacked back outside the 15-yard line. Terrence Knighton, the 4th-year veteran out of Temple, bringing the Ravens' drive to a close. And much as we saw a week ago, a trip to the red zone brings out the kicking team, but not for an extra point. Coverage sack there.
And the O-line, they got to pick up the game better. Brian and Kale, they got fooled on that TE game, and either Brian's got to get back out or they got to stay with their man. They can't get crossed like they did there.
It'll be the rookie, Justin Tucker, attempting a 33-yard try. Tucker good from 33, 45, and 50 a week ago against the Lions. From 33, Tucker drills it right between the uprights, and the Ravens on the board first. 7:34 to play in the opening quarter. And our score, Ravens 3, Jacksonville Jaguars nothing, here on the Ravens Game Day Network.
Block him, the tackle comes around free to sack Joe Flacco.
For our radio listeners, Stan White working the telestrator about as well as it can be done. Stan in regular season form on the telestrator. J.O., the offensive line, not yet in regular season form.
Not quite. They're going to, and teams will see that, and they're going to run that same game until they can prove they can pick it up. So they're going to have to work on that one.
That's about the worst part of giving up a sack like that is other teams are going to keep doing that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, you got to anticipate. You got to block everything else. They're going to keep bringing it to you.
Tucker kicks off to Mike Thomas, brings it out of the end zone, across the 10, hits the brakes, now he accelerates 15-20, far sideline 30, and it's Tucker who pushes the kick returner out of bounds after a 36-yard kick return for the Jags. 3-0 Ravens in front of Jacksonville. 7:26 to play, first quarter. Ravens Game Day Network. Scoring drive, the Ravens went 8 plays, 48 yards, 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Ray Rice with the big burst. On the running play, Torrey Smith working the passing route to perfection with Joe Flacco, but even with that caliber of a drive, the Ravens still had to settle for a Justin Tucker field goal from 33 yards. Tucker has now been just about spot on. He has yet to miss in a game, and he rarely misses in practice, catching a lot of people's attention at the Ravens facility in Owings Mills. Blaine Gabbert on first down is sacked by Haloti Ngata, who storms up the middle and drops him back at the 19-yard line. Hello, Haloti Ngata.
Hello, Haloti Ngata, a guy who has really overcome some minor injuries that kind of derailed his performance last year. He is right on track this year. I don't know why you would ignore number 92 when he is lined up over top of you. That was a missed assignment that Blaine is going to make sure everyone is aware of.
Well, you dream of that
one
defensive
guy that I'm going to make sure we block.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not on the defensive front.
You dream of that defensively, being a free blitzer. Oh my God.
Rashad Jennings, the deep back on second down. Gabbert off the play fake. His pass complete across the 25-yard line to the rookie Justin Blackman, first-round draft pick out of Oklahoma State. Blackman, the only 2-time winner of the Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the top wide receiver in college. And I have to say, I am one of the voters on that. So I've watched this kid as he went through college. He is everything you thought he would be, and he might be that X factor that makes Blaine Gabbert into what the Jags expected when they used the first-round pick on him 2 years ago. Martell Owens in the backfield on third down and a long 10, short 11 for the Jags. Gabbert's pass near side, broken up by Bernard Pollard. It was intended for Zach Miller. And Miller took a wicked shot to the lower back as Bernard Pollard brought the hammer.
Yeah, I don't know who was more, the pass was broken up or the receiver was broken up by Bernard Pollard. He's getting up, Zach Miller's getting up real slow, saying to the quarterback, do not do that to me again.
Please don't lead me that much. Put it on the money, please.
You heard about Bernard Pollard in the pregame. This is a guy, it's not a slogan, it's a lifestyle. He plays like a Raven. Andrews punch. Will be fielded by Jacoby Jones inside the 20-yard line. Sidesteps one tackle. He's got an out at 25, 30, and he's brought down as he crosses the 31-yard line close to the 32. So the Ravens working with a 3-0 lead. And Bernard Pollard making sure that the Jags get no traction on that last drive. Jags, I think this year we might see a transition that you would have loved to have been a part of, where it's not just a team with an explosive, rock-solid defense, but it's a defense that's handing the ball back to an explosive offense.
No, I mean, this year, Joe's in his 5th year, Ray's, 5th year. These guys are ready to explode upon the scene, the whole NFL scene. Torrey Smith and Juan, the tight end, Kidder, and Dixon. I mean, this team is ready offensively to really start pushing points up.
Flacco on first down, fires it to the far sideline. It's incomplete. He was looking for Jacoby Jones. Aaron Ross on the coverage. Jacoby Jones was running in serious traffic down the sideline.
Yeah, he was. When you get an opportunity to have a matchup like that, you certainly want to go to your guy and go to the matchup, but you want to drive that ball in the hole. Joe did it, but he just needs to put a little bit more out there to the sideline and help Jacoby not only catch it, but catch it and run and split those two defenders.
Bobby Rainey has checked into the backfield. On 2nd and 10, we've seen Flacco do this a lot this summer. He makes a play change and a formation adjustment as he goes in under center. On 2nd and 10, they give it to Rainey. Rainey jukes his way, but he'll only get a yard or two. Paul Posluszny, severe linebacker out of Penn State on the stop.
You might say a yard or two, but I also appreciate the fact that Joe just Jacoby ran down the field on the sprint, but comes right back and gives a strong block to
the crackback.
A little crackback, give him an opportunity to go ahead and get some positive gain as opposed to a yard or two loss.
They had a good defense call there. They slanted inside. They brought the corner off the edge. There wasn't really any place for him to go. It's a good defensive call.
Ravens 0 for 2 on 3rd down in the opening quarter. Bobby Rainey stays in the backfield. Good pressure coming. Flacco with time. Comes near sideline, and Torrey Smith makes a grab inside the Jags 35-yard line. And that is going to move the chains. A stupendous grab by Torrey Smith, who had to turn around, make an adjustment on the ball. It comes up with a great grab.
Hey, it's one-on-one coverage. He releases off the line. Very good. But watch the body adjustment by him. And, it seems that the ball slipped out. That's going to be an incompletion. But, again, good body adjustment, good awareness. Got to complete the catch, though. That's what John Harbaugh is looking for, that finish.
He sold it to me, but not to the officials. So Sam Cook is coming on. Here's the point of concern. 0 for 3 now on 3rd down for the Ravens. Aaron Ross, the veteran, is deep for the Jags. Sam Cook gets a monster punt. They'll hang this one into the humid sky, and Aaron Ross makes the fair catch at the 16-yard line. 4:48 left to play in the opening quarter. J.O., we appreciate the visit.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I love it, man.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, take some home with you.
Jags ball, and we get back on the Ravens Game Day Network. 4:48 to play in the opening quarter for our radio partners. On tonight's simulcast, we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Ravens Game Day Network. 1st and 10 coming up for the Jags. Blaine Gabbert remains in at quarterback. Rashad Jennings is the deep back for Jacksonville. Ravens showing blitz pressure, comes off the edge. Give us to Jennings, running left, and he'll cut his way inside the 20, across the 25, and all the way out to the 31-yard line before Bernard Pollard can bring him down after a 15-yard gain.
And that's not setting the edge by Paul Kugler this time. He squeezed in too far, and the guy got outside of him. The running back beat him to the corner. He has to keep outside-in leverage on that and set that corner. Sometimes you try to get too far inside to squeeze it down, so it's that fine line.
Edge getting a lot of play here in the opening quarter. 1st and 10, Jacksonville. Jennings remains the back. Gabbert under center. Looking to throw on 1st down. Has time. His pass is caught. And down the near sideline across midfield, Justin Blackman with his 3rd reception of the opening quarter And again, it's Bernard Pollard on the stop. Again, a big gain, 21 yards for the Jags.
I tell you this, Blaine Gabbert has an arm, and now he has a weapon to throw to. This is going to be a good combination for the Jaguars. Blackman, strong catch with his hands, but then you can see the acceleration down the field for the big game.
Working on Ed Reed, so you know the rookie has abilities if he's getting open against Ed Reed. Flags before the snap, it'll be a false start.
That's a dangerous throw.
Number 78, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Because he threw that where Ed could have cut under it, and Ed was sort of in between. He got caught. He didn't know whether he should cut under it and intercept it or try to stay with the receiver, and he got caught a little bit in no man's land. But if Ed takes one step up on that, he might have gone the other way. So good throw, but a risky one.
First and 15 after the false start. Jennings the lone back. Mercedes Lewis, Pro Bowler 2 seasons ago, the tight end on the move. Gabbert again with a short drop. His pass to Mercedes Lewis. He'll pick up a couple of yards before Bernard Pollard brings Lewis down at the 49-yard line, a gain of 3.
You talk about, you know, the play like the Raven mantra, and you see a guy in Bernard Pollard just breathe, eat, sleep, talk, everything football, and knowing that it is about him going out there and putting the fear, whether it be a tight end or a receiver. Awesome job by Bernard Pollard.
The ground game. Jennings straight ahead. Gets across midfield to the Ravens' 48-yard line, where Jacksonville will be looking at a 3rd down and 9. Haloti Ngata on the stop.
A good job of coming down the line, making the tackle from behind. Again, they're using that 7-man box, so they have to really squeeze it down. Good job that time.
Jags 1 for 3 on 3rd down in this opening quarter, under 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Ravens up by a field goal. Gabbert out of the gun. Blitz pressure coming from the secondary, and Gabbert pass off the mark. He was looking for LaRon Robinson, but he had Bernard Pollard barreling down from the safety spot. He was coming right up the middle.
Well, they did a good job of quick snapping it, and so Bernard was pretty far back when he started. He was at his safety position, couldn't get there. Jimmy Smith may have gotten away with a little bit. I saw some jersey flying out on that, just a little bit, but no call.
Darius Webb is deep, awaiting the Andrew punt. And Webb with a fair catch, just shy of the 15-yard line. 2:23 left in the first quarter. Darius Webb has watched some of the younger guys handle punt return duties. We saw Asa Jackson last week. But as you get closer and closer to the regular season, you start to see Jacoby Jones and Lardarius Webb on the receiving ends of kicks and punts.
That's experience. When the ball is changing hands and you want to secure the football, you'd like to have guys back there that you have a lot of confidence in, who have done it before. When we talk about kicking, it's the same way. So these two guys, Jacoby and Lardarius, are very experienced at catching the ball.
Bernard Pierce, the rookie in the backfield. Play action for Joe Flacco, who rolls out to his right. Flacco's pass, far sideline, is complete to Torrey Smith across the 30-yard line to the 31. DeJuan Landry on the coverage.
Joe Flacco's ability to get outside the pocket and make an accurate throw like that, wow, that's giving you flexibility in your offense. You're also seeing nice route by Torrey Smith. The biggest thing now is hopefully he can stay healthy. It seems as though he might have injured his ankle on that play.
Just trotted off the field, where he will be evaluated by the medical team. On first down, to give it to Bernard Pierce, running to the right, cuts inside the tackle, and picks up a couple of yards to the 33. Good patient running by the rookie out of Temple.
They love the motto, slow to, fast through. Read your blocks. Saw the shoulder of Kelechi turn to his right. Well, don't run to your left, run to your right, and get your opportunity to get up the football field and make a big play.
Torrey Smith remains on the sideline as Flacco throws on second down. Slant pattern complete to Anquan Bolden, and Bolden is all the way out to midfield with a 16-yard gain before DeJuan Landry can bring him down.
Great timing, because that was an either-or play, a run or a throw, and he saw the outside technique by the corner, so he went right to the slant and did a great job of throwing it to him.
Flacco quickly to the line, 1st and 10 at midfield. Bernard Pierce remains the back. Flacco again, the quick release, this time to his tight end Billy Badgema, and complete down to the 44-yard line, a 6-yard gain Paul Puslesny on the tackle.
Yeah, the offense is doing everything right except getting into the end zone. I mean, they're really moving the ball. They're keeping the ball. They're sharp. They're good communication.
Look at Billy, though. Billy in his 8th year, he's having an opportunity to make some plays and get himself noticed.
With Dennis Pitta and Ed Gibson both injured in preseason, Badger is the go-to guy. Bernard Pierce with a carry, tried to get around the near side edge, couldn't do it. Juwan Landry, Paul Puslesny sealed off the edge, and that will set up a 3rd down and 5. Ravens yet to convert on 3rd down in this opening quarter, final minute of the first quarter.
Well, I guess they haven't been doing everything right then if they haven't converted on 3rd down, because you talk about, that's one of the stats you can actually look at after a game that's very telling.
Joe Flacco is happy to let this quarter expire and continue the drive with a 3rd down on the first play of the second quarter. 1 quarter in the books in week 3 of the preseason. And the Ravens with the field goal advantage, a 33-yard field goal by the rookie Justin Tucker. Our only points in the game so far on Veterans Night at M&T Bank Stadium here on the Ravens Game Day Network. I invite you to celebrate Countdown to Kickoff Week. Wednesday night, September 5th. Hang out at the Power Plant Live for a free 21 concert featuring Theory of a Dead Man. Then on Friday the 7th, join us for a bar tour with the Ravens cheerleaders and Poe. Go to BaltimoreRavens.com for more details. Dan, I believe that is one of the bands that you have loaded up your iPod on, right?
What was that?
Theory of a Dead Man?
Can't wait to hear it.
Dan, do you have an iPod?
Oh, yes.
Atta baby. 3rd down and 4 on the opening play of the second quarter. Can't wait to check out the playlist after this game.
The Beatles.
Obladi, Oblada, the drive goes on as Joe Flacco completes his pass to Torrey Smith at the 36-yard line. First 3rd down conversion for the Ravens tonight.
Well, when you're playing off coverage on Torrey Smith, it gives you an opportunity. Could release off the line of scrimmage, a little bit off, and then he just sticks his foot in the ground and makes a good, strong move back to the quarterback, giving Joe Flacco a good target. Strong hands, good catch, good 1st down.
Yeah, the defender's got to honor that fade move. He's got to play on top of him, and when he sticks it, he just can't come back to the shorter route.
Bobby Rainey in the backfield with Flacco. Ray Rice had 2 carries in the first quarter for 30 yards rather. And since then, Cam Cameron has gone with the younger players in the backfield. Delay of game. Ball start.
5 yards. Repeat the down.
The headline judge had signaled delay of game, but the referee saw false start. So the Ravens doing a couple things wrong on that play.
Well, Joe was changing the play. He was killing what he had, and the only guy that didn't understand it wasn't the snap count was Michael Orr. And when Joe went to kill it, he jumped into his stance. So can't do that.
You know it's bad. Orr moved, and the right guard, Bobby Williams, pointed to Orr. You know it's bad when your teammates are pointing to you as the guy who jumped.
Ooh, look what you did.
1st and 15. Bernard Pierce gets the carry straight ahead and gets maybe half a yard on the play. Tyson Alualu, 3rd-year tackle out of California on the tackle. Ravens used their 3rd-round draft pick on Bernard Pierce, and they were hoping they have found a downhill, kind of a sledgehammer style of runner who's a nice change of pace to Ray Rice. Pierce in the backfield with Leach. Flacco on 2nd down, play action with time. Throws to Pierce, complete out of the backfield. Sheds a tackle, gets inside the 30-yard line, working the far sideline down to the 29.
Doesn't it help when you don't have that negative play, even though the defender got into the backfield, he still was able to, Pierce was still able to get positive gain back to the line of scrimmage. You come back, dial up another play, you dump it down to the young man, and now he has a strong run after catch opportunity, and you're looking at 3rd and short.
That's what makes it so tough defensively. If you get back to take it away, they dump it. Ray Rice, I think, caught 60 or 70 checkdowns last year of those 80 catches that he had.
Flacco on 3rd and 3. Lost the ball, far sideline, and Bobby Rainey has it down inside the 15-yard line. Pushed out of bounds after 12, but not before a 17-yard gain and a Ravens 1st down. Rainey comes out of the play limping, but he moved the chains. Well, on a beautiful touch throw by Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I will say this. He just dropped it right into the breadbasket, and oh boy, that was an awkward tackle. Bobby's ankle, usually that the tackle's a high ankle sprain.
Flacco on first down. His pass intended for Billy Bajema. It was knocked down by Paul Posluszny at the 10.
Posluszny had to make up for the play before. He got matched up on Bobby Ring as a middle linebacker. Posluszny is really an outside linebacker playing middle, and the whole league is going to more of those littler, smaller linebackers, which is why Ray lost some weight, to play even in the middle because they can cover people.
Second down and 10. Anthony Allen in the backfield. Flacco out of his shotgun. This time, his pass is caught by Torrey Smith inside the 5-yard line, wrestled out of bounds. At about the
Forward progress.
He caught the ball down by the 2 and then was pushed back all the way to the 5, and they're marking it back at the 5.
It's horrible.
And John Harbaugh is not going to like this spot.
No, it should be almost by the sticks.
Yeah, forward progress.
Nobody's arguing, though.
It's one of the problems.
Preseason.
Third down and 3. Ball is at the 5-yard line of the Jags. Anthony Allen, the lone back. Flacco, play action. Lawson, end zone, touchdown. Anquan Boldin got behind the coverage, and Flacco found it.
That was awesome play action. It makes it so easy.
Looked like Peyton Manning almost, didn't it?
It absolutely did. You talk about Jim Caldwell.
Exactly.
Coming over from Indianapolis.
Holding that ball out, throwing up the linebackers and throwing over their head.
Absolutely. Give Joe Flacco some information that he can use. Show him a little technique, and of course he executes it to perfection, and you get a nice easy score in the back of the end zone to your number one wide receiver in Anquan Boldin.
And that ends a streak for the Ravens in which they had seen their last 5 scoring drives end in field goals. This one ends with the extra point as Justin Tucker puts it through the uprights, and the Ravens lead now 10-0 in front of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 12:24 to play in the opening half on the Ravens Game Day Network. I invite you to visit the AAA Ravens Walk between parking lots B and C on the north side of the stadium. It opens 3 hours before kickoff. It includes bars, food stations, a huge 9x12-foot television. Catch the early bird special during the first 2 hours on AAA Ravens Walk. You get 2 beverages for the price of 1. The Ravens Walk is your stop for the ultimate pre-game tailgates. 10-0 Ravens in front of the Jaguars. Just under 12.5 minutes to play here in the opening half as Joe Flacco put together an absolutely spot-on drive. What Cam Cameron and John Harbaugh had wanted to see tonight, a drive finishing with the touchdown. Tucker hits a high, short, end-over-end kick. Fielded by Mike Thomas inside the 10, across the 15, 20. And he is pulled down as he crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line. That last touchdown, Stan, you mentioned Peyton Manning. That was great ball skills by Joe Flacco.
They held the ball out. The linebackers, they converged on the running back. They came up. And we're talking at the break. That's going to make that running play that much better, too, because next time they're going to have to stay back, and then that allows the lineman to get into them downfield.
Geico scoring drive, 12 plays, 85 yards, just under 5 minutes. Joe Flacco caps it. Flacco on that drive, 8 of 9. 5-yard touchdown pass to Anquan Boldin. Sean Jennings, the beat back. Look at the handoff running left, and he is going to be stopped before he gets to the line of scrimmage by Jameel McClain. Dropped for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, it was a good game. Ray Lewis blitzed, and then Jameel McClain came through.
And that is going to be the teeth of the inside of this defense.
Ray comes here, Jameel here, gets a runner in the backfield.
That's that A-gap pressure that is very difficult to defend against when you're talking about the offensive line.
It was actually Ray coming through that he didn't pick up.
Yeah.
I thought Jameel came off of that, but it was really Ray.
Jennings stays in the backfield on 2nd and 12. Off the play fake. Gathered pass complete to his tight end, but for a very short gain, there's Jameel McClain on the stop. After the ball was completed to Zach Miller, and Miller shaken up at the end of the play.
DBs has to be happy with his defense's performance so far. They're flying around to the football. A lot of hats to the football. Jameel McClain, you're seeing him play with a lot of confidence and some reckless abandon, as we like to call it. That's good, strong tackle. You're not getting a yard off of that. That's what you're looking at when you're talking about DBs and what he's looking for from his defense.
Third down and 10. Gabbard in the shotgun. If Dean Pease brings one of his many blitz packages here. He does. Gabbard Throwing to the far sideline, incomplete. He was looking for Justin Blackman. And that time, Gabbert showed us what we saw from him last year. Pressure came, and he bailed, throwing off his back foot.
Well, he thought he was going to get the little slant, but Haloti Ngata dropped back and took away from him the little slant, and he had to go to his secondary receiver. They loaded up the line. They had 8 men right at the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden, here comes Haloti Ngata dropping off right where the slant would have been, and he had to pull it down and throw it to the outside receiver.
Ray Lewis right in Gabbert's chest as he threw the ball. Jacoby Jones will field the punt inside the 30, brings it near sideline 35, and he'll get no farther than that. 10:35 to play in the first half, and it has been all Ravens so far. They lead the Jags 10-0. Our score at M&T on the Ravens Game Day Network. In front of the Jags, 10:35 to play in the first half at M&T. The Ravens defense applying pressure tonight to Blaine Gabbert. Haloti Ngata with the first sack of the night. And during the regular season, for each sack made by the Ravens defense, Constellation and the Ravens will team up to plant one tree on Earth Day 2013 as part of the Sack for Trees program powered by Constellation. Ravens fans, team up with Constellation to power your home or business at Constellation.com. Joe Flacco throws on first down. His pass to the far side of the field, complete to Jacoby Jones out at the 46-yard line. A gain of 11 and a Ravens first down.
Talk about speed on speed. You got Jacoby out there, you got Torrey Smith out there, and they're running some vertical routes, and then they stick their foot in the ground, come with the comeback route, and Joe, with his big cannon-like arm, he's going to make that throw look easy.
Yeah, not many quarterbacks can make that throw.
First and 10 Ravens. Give it to Bernard Pierce, the rookie, trying to bounce around the edge. Can't get there, and he'll pick up a yard on the play. He was trying to get around the right tackle, Michael Orr, but the Jags turn him back inside. Second down and 9.
So if you have the ability to throw from one hash and throw the outcut all the way across the field at 15 yards, and you have to be able to rifle the ball. And like I said, Joe does have it. What did Kirsten say? He had the best arm in football?
Absolutely.
They go from the shotgun on second down. Jags bring blitz pressure. Brings back to Monte Leach, and Leach barrels across midfield, gets down to the Jags 47-yard line. Tough running for the Ravens fullback, Monte Leach, a year ago with 15 receptions. And you know what? This is not a throwaway play when you put the ball in his hands, because he's going to hurt somebody.
Absolutely. The juggernaut, as I like to call him. I think Vontae, for him to be on the field, he has to be able to be a part of the passing game. He can't just be on the field in obvious run, downs, and personnel packages.
Third down and 3. Flacco out of the gun. Jags rush 4. Flacco throws near side, and it is complete for a first down as Tandon Goff makes the reception at the Jags 43-yard line. The Ravens were 0 for 3 on their first 3 third down opportunities. They are 4 for 4 since.
It's good to see Tandon Goff in the mix. I know they really like him, but he's got to stay healthy and start making some plays. 3rd and 3, he's a possession guy. That's the plays he's got to make.
No huddle has the Ravens right back to the line of scrimmage. Flacco backs away. Signals to his wide receiver. He'll throw on first down. And Tandon Goff gets the reception inside the Jacksonville 40-yard line. He is pushed out into the Jags bench at the 39 by Aaron Ross.
Here's the cool thing about it. Joe doesn't care what your jersey number is. He's not about going to a guy. He wants to be able to have comfort and confidence in every single one of his wide receivers. If you're open, I'm going to deliver the ball to you.
Flacco again with an adjustment at the line. Let's go to Bobby Rainey with a handoff. Rainey gets around the edge. He has a first down and more to the 31-yard line, but a flag thrown from the backfield. And that will likely back the Ravens up.
Yeah, Joe saw 2 real deep safeties, a 6-man box, and he decided to go right to the running play to Rainey. Unfortunately, there's going to be a holding call.
Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat the down.
Well, a rookie mistake for Kelechi Osemele, second-round draft pick. He has been impressive. Started the preseason at tackle, but then once Bryant McKinney started to get his weight down and his performance up and moved back to left tackle, Osemele moved to the guard position. He's at the left guard on this last play. Stan, what's the foul right there?
Yeah, when he gets his arm wrapped around him, he was trying to hook a guy in his outside gap, and that's very difficult to do.
Go to second down and 16 on the Jags 49. Bobby Rainey, the lone back. He'll get the handoff straight ahead. Works his way through a crowd inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. So he gets back to 5 yards. The Ravens lost on the previous play, but instead of it being a first down, it is a 3rd and long, 3rd and 11 coming up from the Jags 44.
Well, I guess if you're going to complain about the hold, you got to give him some love because he just pulled on that play right there and was a road grader for Bobby Rainey to run behind.
Flacco out of the gun. It's check down pass to Bobby Rainey, and Rainey will be taken down shy of the first down at the 35-yard line. That was a Ray Rice-like reception, and Rice-like moves at the end of the reception. Ray Rice started this game, had a couple of carries and a reception, but since then Cam Cameron has put the workload on the rookies, Bobby Rainey and Bernard Pierce. And this means we'll bring out the rookie kicker, Justin Tucker, to attempt a 53-yard try from the left hash mark. Tucker hit from 50 a week ago against the Lions. Sam Cook will hold. Tucker has been perfect in preseason. This kick has enough leg. It is long enough, and it is good from 53 yards. Justin Tucker extends the Ravens lead to 13-0.
That ball was halfway up the goalpost. Yeah. If people were wondering if his leg wasn't that good in the kickoffs, we'll explain that when we get back.
Wonder no more. Ravens lead at 13-0 with 6:44 to play first half on the Ravens Game Day Network. Nothing. Ravens in front of the Jags. 6:44 left in the first half. The Geico scoring drive, 8 plays, 33 yards. Less than a minute. Justin Tucker capped it with a 53-yard field goal. Stan, you mentioned questions about his leg on kickoffs. One coming up. He's really just following orders, right?
Yeah, he is. He's only taking a few steps. He's a short run. They want to practice their kickoff cover.
In fact, Tucker puts it about 8 yards deep. And Mike Thomas thinks about it, but will not bring it out.
John Harbaugh is throwing his hands up in the air like, oh, come on, guys.
We had the adrenaline after the 53-yarder, man. It's like, how do you tell him to tool it down? You know, how do you do that?
When your kickoff coverage unit is near the bottom of the league, you're trying to get a little work in the preseason so you're not getting those big plays.
Yeah, he didn't go over and talk to John afterwards, did he?
Oh, he did. He was like, I think I'll go around him this time.
Yeah, the rookie learned, see the head coach after you hit the field goal, not after you put the ball too deep on the kickoff. And Gabbett remains in at quarterback to give it to Rashad Jennings, running behind the right guard and tackle. He'll pick up a couple of yards out to the 23. Gain of 3. Second down at 7 coming up. First half numbers, how about this? Ravens have outgained Jacksonville 219 to 66. That's about what the coaches wanted to see. And we've also gotten a good long look at Justin Tucker, who is now 5 for 5 in the preseason with 2 of his field goals 50 yards or more. Billy Cundiff has also been perfect in the preseason.
Considering we only had 14 yards in halftime against Jacksonville last year, it's a big improvement.
Quick toss goes to Jennings, running left, waiting for an opening, and that is there as he is tracked down from behind by Lardarius Webb.
The pursuit angle of Lardarius Webb was spot on. He talked about loving to play the slot because it is like playing will linebacker, and he knows that he has to be physical as well. You see him coming from the top of the screen, doesn't give up on a play, and tracks the man down. Dean Pease, defensive coordinator, loves guys like number 21 out there on the football field. He's a good, strong football player.
And he's fast enough to do that. Not many people can catch him like that.
5.5 minutes left in the opening half. Jags looking at a 3rd down and 3 from their 27. Gabbert out of the gun. His pass is complete for a first down at the 33-yard line. Mike Thomas with the reception, and that will move the chains for Jacksonville.
So that's where there's a lot of talking going on there between the defensive backs. I think there was a little confusion on the pattern, who was going to take the out break, who was going to take the in break, and they didn't quite do it the right way, as they found out after the play.
And Ed Reed is getting everybody up to speed with a quick educational follow-up at the end of it. He was none too happy with the secondary. 5 minutes even left in the opening half. Ravens with a 13-point advantage. And Gabbert will throw on first down across the middle, and it is broken up. He was looking for LaRon Robinson, and Robinson was in a crowd that included Lardarius Webb.
Well, they play that one lurk where it's cover one, Ed Reed takes the middle of the football field, and then you have Bernard Pollard come down and take that intermediate throw. Well, he missed on his angle, but boy, when you got number 21 back there,
Yeah.
he makes up for some mistakes. Excellent job of finishing the play.
Yeah, I think Laurent Robinson saw number 31 coming too.
I see dead people.
Second down and 10. Number 33, Josh Jennings will run. Get the gap across the 40, 45, and all the way out to the 46-yard line before Jameel McClain can track him down after a 13-yard gain. We had a chance to visit with Ladarius Webb this week, and he is a guy who is now at that point in his career where the game has slowed down, and his play has been at such a high caliber. He really, you talk about Bernard Pollard playing like a Raven. Webb is all about playing like a Raven, guys, because he plays with such speed, such good technique and tackling, and he has such a kind of a flair for the big play.
Yes, he does.
10 for Jacksonville. Off the play fake. Gabbert with time. He throws, completing the 35-yard line. Blackman has it, and he'll stretch the ball all the way down to the 27 on a 26-yard gain. Kerry Williams on the coverage. But all of a sudden, Blaine Gabbert and the Jags on the move with 3:48 left to play in the opening half.
Well, Kerry Williams, he's playing way off on Blackman, certainly giving him his respect. But, the baseball turn, you have to be able to read your keys and come out of that sharper. That's one thing that Kerry Williams has been working on, his hip turn, certainly after the injury that he had to his hip and the surgery that he had from it.
4 catches for 72 yards in the first half of Justin Blackman. Gabbert on first down, a hands off to Jennings, running near side, cuts it up inside the 20-yard line, and spun down by Jameel McClain, but not before he gets to the 19 on a 9.
Part about it, the giving up of the big plays and putting your team down in the red zone like we're seeing. Okay, you know what? I tell you what, when you go up against Bernard,
you're going to get hit.
You're going to get hit. So just leave, as they would say, leave the sleeping dog alone. Don't wake him up.
Called himself a junkyard dog, so he would love to mix it up. Second down and 1 on the 18. Jennings with a carry. Trying to get around the right edge, and he won't do it. He stopped at the 17-yard line by Ladarius Webb. The second effort by Jennings looks like it will move the chains for Jacksonville. The Jags have a first down in the Heinz red zone. So a reminder as we start to approach the 2-minute warning. Coming up at the half, Stan White will visit with Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. And as is Stan's fortunes, for the first time in the first half, the Ravens are in trouble of giving up points. And John Harbaugh will be none too happy if they do, and that means not too happy to see Stan, poor Stan. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in the opening half. Plenty for Stan to worry about, plenty for John Harbaugh and his defensive coaches to strategize about. And the Ravens with a 13-0 lead here on the Ravens Game Day Network. Ravens fans, pick up your 2012 cheerleader swimsuit calendar. It's only $15. Features 40 stunning NFL cheerleaders on the beautiful beaches of the Bahamas. You can get one today at BaltimoreRavenStore.com or here on game day from the cheerleaders. Don't delay. Get yours now. BaltimoreRavenStore.com. I got mine this week. Did you get your calendar?
No.
Get your calendar. It's great. I'm telling you, I got it.
I need to get my calendar.
Lindsay's on the cover.
Absolutely.
And every month is gorgeous.
Yep.
How often can you say that in a row? Blaine Gabbert will throw on first down. He fires the ball inside the 5-yard line, incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Colin Flaherty, and he overthrew him. 2nd and 10.
This will test the mettle of your defense. Certainly.
Flag on that.
Holding on the defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty being forced from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Oh, Dean Pease cannot be happy with that as Paul Kruger makes a critical mistake. If this is a regular season game, that's the kind of play that can dictate the outcome. You stop a team on first down, and Paul Kruger coming from the left outside position.
Yeah, he grabbed some clock there.
Got the handful of the jerseys of the tight end. 1st and 10, Jacksonville at the Ravens 11. Give this to Jennings. And Jennings is hit right at the line of scrimmage by Lardarius Webb. Ray Lewis again on the mix. That's 6 tackles in the opening half for Lardarius Webb. And I think that speaks to how serious the Ravens veterans took this preseason game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a strong dress rehearsal. You want to put on tape a good, strong effort to show you that you are ready for the regular season. Certainly Lardarius is, and might have to give him, if I'm calling Vontae the Juggernaut, I might have to call him the Predator, because he is definitely hawking guys down and making his presence felt.
Second down and 10 from the Ravens 11. Again to the ground game. Jennings, and this time he was able to squeeze inside the 10-yard line. Maki Kimawaki, who had just checked in on the front of that Ravens defense with the tackle.
And you're talking about the intensity of this group. I tell you right now, number 52, as intense as he is, he got up salty at himself because he missed the tackle on that play. Oh, he's heated.
17th preseason for Ray Lewis. 17th season on the horizon.
This is no preseason game for him. This is it. This is like, hey, I take every game and every opportunity to go out there and play well.
1:07 to play first half. Ravens 13, the Jaguars nothing. Here on the Ravens Game Day Network. Ravens in front of the Jags. 1:07 left in the first half. New Jags head coach Mike Mularkey came over from the offensive coordinator's position in Atlanta, where he helped to develop Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan into one of the really fine young quarterbacks in this league. The Jags are hoping he can do the same with Blaine Gabbert. Gabbert is looking at a 3rd down and 6. Ball is at the Ravens' 7-yard line. So Jacksonville can get a first down without a touchdown. Gabbert out of the shotgun. With time, goes to check down to Montel Owens, and Owens is bottled up, and he'll lose a half a yard on the play as the Ravens brought great pursuit and made sure they did not give up yards. Brendan Ayandadejo leading the hunt on the ball carrier.
Close the gap, buzz your feet, get into the good, strong hip position, and make the tackle, and that's what you saw. And all the hats to the football. Dean Pease has to be pleased with his defense. You're talking about a defense that was #1 in the league last year in red zone. You just don't score on this defense.
The Ravens have taken a timeout, their second, with 1 minute even, and I am suspecting that John Harbaugh is going to try to hold on to as much of that clock as possible so he can give his offense a 2-minute drill, in this case a 1-minute drill. That's exactly what you practice every day in camp. So when it presents itself in the game situation for Joe Flacco and the offense, why not see if you can't buy him a little time and then put him through the paces. Ravens fans, we invite you to use #RavensBooth during tonight's game. We may answer your question in the second half. You can always follow @RaveTV for shows and information. Josh Scobie on to attempt a 25-yard field goal try from the right hash mark. And Scobie delivers to Jacksonville as the Jags get their first points of the game and make it a 10-point ball game. 13-3 our score now. A lot of pushing and shoving at the end of that play, and a lot of frustration, I think, for Jerry Rosburg's special teams unit there, because they came very close to blocking that kick. Lardarius Webb has enjoyed quite the first half. He's been in on 6 tackles, had excellent coverage, and he is playing at a Pro Bowl level that we saw a year ago, and he is bringing that to this 3rd preseason game. Here we've seen a little of something of everything from Lardarius Webb in the first half.
Well, he's playing from the slot. He loves that nickel position. Certainly, you talk about him being all over the field, out in coverage, open field tackling, closing the gap in run support, allowing the troops to come in. That's what you're looking for when you're talking about that nickel position. He's equating himself to try to bring his level of play up to the guys like Charles Woodson, where you got him down in the box playing a nickel. You can play a tight end, you can play a slot guy, you can support the run. You're basically all over the football field. I think Lardarius is poised to be that kind of a guy, that predator out there on the football field.
The thing that Lardarius Webb has been doing as well has been elevating the communication with some of the younger players. Jimmy Smith, Danny Gore, some of the folks like that. Josh Scobie will kick off. Jacoby Jones deep. Jones takes it 9 yards deep and bringing it out of the end zone. He's across the 10, 15, he's got one 20. Far sideline, 25, cuts inside the kicker, 30. 40-yard line, and he'll run out of room before he can reach midfield. But a beautiful return by Jacoby Jones. 51 yards on the return, all the way out to the... They're going to spot this one at the... Waiting for the final spot. They're going to spot it at the 42-yard line. And that gives the Ravens 48 seconds to work with and great field position to begin their final drive of the half.
Anthony Allen, number 35, just depleted a guy. Woo, you talk about Jacoby Jones catching the ball on the run, full speed sprint, awesome job, open field blocking by Anthony Allen as well.
A little 2-minute drill action now for Joe Flacco. He starts from the gun. His pass is complete to Torrey Smith at midfield. They have only one timeout to work with, and they want to conserve that for a possible field goal try if needed. Second down and 2. Bobby Randy is the back. Flacco to throw out of the gun. Lift pressure. Flacco in trouble. Ball comes loose. And Michael Orr will fall on it at the 44-yard line. John Harbaugh wanted to whistle an incompletion to stop the clock. But the officials did not signal incomplete. Instead, it was ruled a fumble on the fly. So the clock is running. 16 seconds and counting. And the Ravens are going to have to use possibly their final timeout. Harbaugh cannot throw the challenge flag because we are under 2 minutes in the half.
But if it's incomplete, that ball or that clock stops.
We did not see an incomplete signal from any of the officials. Flacco felt the pocket collapsing, tried to get rid of the ball at the last second. And as we look at the replay, that looks like a fumble.
By rule, under 2 minutes, only the fumbler can recover the ball. The ball will be placed at the spot of the fumble and going on the line.
Fumbling every fumble.
And that's because you cannot advance a fumble in the final 2 minutes of the half or the game, unless it is recovered by the person who fumbled. Joe Flacco with 5 seconds left in the half, going deep, and it's going to be intercepted by Rasheed Mathis inside the 5-yard line, and he will step out of bounds at the 1-yard line as the final seconds come off the clock in the first half. One half in the books, and our score, Ravens 13, the Jaguars 3. And we are going to hear from Ravens head coach John Harbaugh in just a moment as he visits with Stan White. Well, the offense completed the drives that they were hoping to, coming up with a touchdown drive, and the defense did not let the Jaguars complete their scoring drive with anything more than a field goal. And we head down to the sideline where Stan White is standing by with Ravens head coach John
You
Harbaugh.
had all kinds of things in the first half. The offense moved the ball. You got a 2-minute drive by calling the timeout. You got a red zone stop by the defense. You accomplished a lot of things in this first half.
You're exactly right. I mean, we saw a lot of things. I thought we executed well for the most part on both sides. If you had one thing you're probably a little disappointed about, it was the drive that they got down the field, but you're happy with the red zone defense. So, you know, I was disappointed with the first stop, but then we got it in the next couple times, so it was good.
All right. Good luck second half,
Thanks,
Coach.
Dan.
All right. Back to you, Jared.
Thank you, Stanley. 13-3. Ravens in front of the Jaguars as the Ravens' first team on offense, able to produce 3 scoring drives, 2 by the rookie kicker. And Joe Flacco with a touchdown throw to Anquan Bolden. We have reached halftime with the Ravens enjoying a 10-point lead here on the Ravens Game Day Network.
Buy and sell Jaguars tickets at NFL.com/ticket exchange. Don't wait. Buyers get in and sellers get paid.
Halftime in Baltimore. Kevin Kugler, Tony Baselli, Brent Martineau. A beautiful night here in Baltimore, Maryland, and the Jaguars with perhaps a little momentum as we get ready to start this third quarter of play. A nice drive to end the first half and get on the board with a 25-yard field goal from Josh Scobie. And Tony, the offense, which was stymied a little bit early as we take a look at some of the first half highlights, got it going a little bit later, but Blaine Gabbert hooking up with his favorite target, the rookie Justin Blackmon.
And he's been outstanding. We said it last week, and he had a great first game as a pro, and comes in this week, and it almost looks like he's the veteran out there. He's been doing it for 4 or 5 years. You would never guess that he was a rookie.
And then Rashad Jennings got it going later on the ground and started to find that running game that he's had the first 2 weeks.
He's been outstanding. He missed one run, I thought, in the first half. Other than that, he was patient. He was explosive, breaking tackles. I don't think we see him the rest of the night. I think Mike Mularkey's probably seen enough of Rashad Jennings.
Take a look at the first half stats, and there was dominance by the Baltimore Ravens, averaging 6 yards a play, 181 yards through the air, over 200 yards total offense tonight for Baltimore. But the Jaguars have to feel pretty good about what they did on that last drive.
Well, if it was a regular season game, the way that this game was dominated early in the first half by the Ravens, if you were the Jaguars, you'd be okay to only down 13-3.
Let's check in downstairs. Brent is standing by with the head coach, Mike Mularkey.
Here with head coach Mike Mularkey. Coach, the offense struggled, put himself in some tough spots early on, but a nice drive to finish the half.
It was nice. It kind of gave us a little bit of confidence that we can move the ball. You know, the one thing we did early is we kept putting ourselves in long yard situations, negative plays on first down, whether they were losses or penalties. Hard to overcome against a good football team, and we struggled with it. But it was nice to see that they did that. We got to do it again now.
Defensively, they're hurrying up a bit. You gave up a lot of yardage in the passing game. What do you hope to fix in the second half?
Well, they up-tempoed us, and that's good for us. We need that. We need to find out about ourselves. We need to do a better job tackling, and our coverage, our man coverage, we're working on that a little bit. Some guys are getting matched up with some of their guys, and they did a great job with their passing game, getting guys into voids where we were not there.
The plan is to still play the starters through the third?
We're going to play the starters first. They had defensively, they had a lot of plays, so we're going to substitute those guys early in this game. The offense should stay in there, hopefully with a good drive on this opening series.
All right, Mike Mularkey and the Jaguars offense will get the ball first, guys.
And they'll get it right away, Brent, as Jalen Parmalee, the former Raven, takes it from the goal line. Parmalee to the 20. Parmalee with a hole to the 30. Across the 35. Jalen Parmalee gives the Jaguars terrific field position to start this second half, all the way out to the 42.
Jalen Parmalee was a guy early in camp that a lot of people were talking about that was fighting for that backup running back job. Quiet once the preseason game started, didn't get a lot of reps. Keith Toston, who got hurt last week, had passed him in the depth chart, but that's what you need to do. Make a play on special teams, get noticed, and now we're going to see more of him because they're going to give Rashad some time on the sidelines. We'll see more of Jalen Parmalee this second half.
Yeah, Mike Mularkey's looking for guys that can make an impact on special teams. Parmalee's one of those guys. He led Baltimore in kickoff return yards 2 years ago. On first down, Gabbert to throw, and it's broken up by Bernard Pollard, intended for Justin Blackman.
Three-step by Gabbert. It almost looked like he had pre-snap, in the pre-snap, decided where he wanted to go with that ball, because definitely Justin Blackman is covered up by Bernard Pollard. Unfortunate, that's a dangerous throw to make in the flat when your receiver's that well covered.
Zach Potter in motion on 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Parmalee the carry. Parmalee breaks one tackle and is down at the 43-yard line. Maake Kimoyatu, the 10th-year man out of Utah, makes the tackle for Baltimore.
And you have almost all the starters still in for the Jaguars except for Rashad Jennings. He's on the sideline, and Brad Meester did not come out. Mike Brewster, the undrafted free agent out of Ohio State, who's done a good job, will start the second half at center.
Not surprising. We saw that last week.
No, that's what they plan to do. They plan to give Brad the first half and let him rest.
3rd down and 9 from the 43-yard line. Gabbert with all day to throw, looking to the left side, and the pass is incomplete. Blackman was the intended receiver. He and Kerry Williams, who's coming off hip surgery, were tangled up over on the near sideline.
We're going to look at Justin working man-to-man coverage. He goes in, the ball was thrown out. That's not going to result in a very good play often. There was not much separation there, and Blaine hung in there in the pocket as long as he could and thought it was going to be a deep out, and Justin just turned the route in.
Ryan Anger trying to find that hang time again. Gets a little bit of it here as he sends it towards Rainey. It'll bounce at the 2-yard line, and it'll just trickle into the end zone. That was awfully close. Kevin Rutland was down there to try to down it. A 57-yard punt, a net of 37 as it goes into the end zone.
Perfectly executed punt. It's right, and Rutland's right there. That's where the awareness of where you are, where the goal line is, and then the body control to stay and keep that ball right about the 1 or 2 yard line. That's a 18-yard difference. That's the hidden yardage that you pick up or lose in the special teams.
From the 20, first down and 10. Flacco flushed. Flacco for the sideline and shoved out of bounds. Minimal gain of about a yard as he was chased out by Russell Allen. Terrific coverage downfield by Jacksonville.
Well, we just heard Mike Mularkey talk about in the first half they were working on some man-to-man concepts. Guys were getting open. Some of the matchups, we saw Torrey Smith doing an outstanding job, and that was something they needed to improve this second half.
Second down and 8. Baltimore also going with their offensive starters for this third quarter. In really the final tune-up. I know there's one more preseason game, but for both of these teams, they approach this as the final tune-up as Flacco goes back to his favorite Torrey Smith, and Smith about a yard shy of the first at the 29-yard line. Neither starting unit expected to go more than about 1 series next week.
No, fourth preseason game, it's to see where the young guys are and who's going to round up your roster. Flacco finding Torrey Smith again. Popular tandem in the first half.
6th catch of the night for Torrey Smith. Third down and a yard from the 29. Flacco to throw, and the catch is made by Doss at the 32-yard line. Boy, he was well covered out there on the outer edge by Lowry, and a nice throw by Flacco to get it in there.
Well, I thought Dwight Lowry for a second there was going to be able to step in front of the ball and intercept it. He had perfect coverage. Went for the knockdown, and I'm not sure how he missed it. He swatted that left arm at it, and the ball went right by him.
Rainey the lone setback. The only starter we haven't seen much of tonight for Baltimore is Ray Rice. He played about 1 series.
They know what they have in him.
From the 32, Flacco hit as he throws. Looking deep down the far side for Jacoby Jones. The pass incomplete. William Middleton on the coverage. The crowd angling for a flag. None comes, and it's second down.
Middleton has perfect coverage, but then he gets turned around. There's a lot of hand fighting, but then a lot of contact with the body by William Middleton, almost pushing Jacoby Jones to the sideline before the ball gets there. And this crowd's not happy, and I can't blame him there.
If you were in stripes, are you reaching for a yellow flag?
Yeah, I throw the flag there. And the thing is, if William Middleton would have stayed in his initial position, he was perfect, but then he started twisting like a top.
Second down and 10. Flacco throws. Catch is made. First down. Jacoby Jones out to the 42-yard line. A 10-yard pickup. And that should move the chains again for the Ravens.
And they've been working William Middleton's side quite a bit ever since Rasheem Mathis went out. You have Aaron Ross on one side. You have the injury to Derek Cox. He's out. And William Middleton, NFL quarterbacks, they'll find a guy who's struggling. And right now, they're going after Middleton.
From the 43-yard line, first down and 10. And Flacco has had a tremendous night tonight. Very calm, cool, and collected, and he almost throws the pick there. A flag comes in. Nearly intercepted. Kevin Rutland got his hands on it. The intended receiver was Tandon Doss, and the flag thrown at the 48-yard line.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Penalty being enforced from the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
See a nice quick drop by Joe Flacco. You can't see the interference. We'll look at it right here. Aaron Ross never sees Torrey Smith. He's in man coverage on Tandon Doss, and he's trying to break on the route. Great route combination by the Baltimore Ravens. A little bit of a cross, and it mixes up the Jaguars defenders and draws a pass interference.
Flacco to throw. First down and 10. Over the middle. Torrey Smith again with a grab. Gets away from Ross. Smith to the 25, inside the 20, and down at the 19-yard line. Flacco well over 200 yards passing, and he finds his favorite target, Torrey Smith. 7th catch of the night for Smith.
Well, you think he's going to be a nightmare matchup this year for defensive cornerbacks? Talking about Torrey Smith, he's gotten separation all night. And last year he was just a burner. He was just separated. This year he's running nice routes.
On first down, Flacco to Leach, and Ross with a good open field tackle at the 17-yard line. Not much room to turn upfield for Vonta Leach. That's a tough tackle for Aaron Ross. He made it nicely.
A little bit of a size difference.
Just subtle.
Going back to Torrey Smith, last year he was known as just the fast guy. Guy who's going to just stretch the field, just make you really respect the deep ball. So far what we've seen here tonight, he does a nice job of running the underneath routes, and he's quickly becoming Joe Flacco's favorite receiver.
2nd down and 7 from the 17. Trying to find some running room on the outside, and there is not much there. Good job, Posluszny filling the hole. Bernard Pierce with really nowhere to go. He got forward progress of a yard to the 16-yard line, but Posluszny just slamming the door on Bernard Pierce.
This Jaguars run defense was outstanding. You see George Selvey, C.J. Mosley in there. And then Paul Posluszny just running free, and he does an outstanding job of reading the front, finding almost like a running back, finding that hole and then hitting it and meeting the running back on their side of the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 6. Smith again across the middle of the field. Torrey Smith with a 1st down, and it's 1st and goal for the Ravens at the Jaguars' 8-yard line. Torrey Smith is not the burner anymore. He's still got the speed, but he'll be running crossing routes, and he's going to be a tough matchup.
And that's his 8th catch for 103 yards, and we're still in the first half of this 3rd quarter. He has been dominating.
1st and goal from the 8 to the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Jacoby Jones, and the coverage out there by Kevin Rutland.
And it started early with Torrey Smith. If you remember back working against Rasheem Mathis, he had a couple steps on the deep pattern. Joe Flacco just missed him. And then since then, we've seen him working underneath, crossing patterns, slants, outs, whatever it is. Torrey Smith has been open.
2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. In the first half, the Jaguars defense was able to stiffen when the Ravens had 1st and goal inside the 10. Held Baltimore to a field goal. Can they come up with that kind of stand again here? Play action. Flacco steps away from pressure, throws it short to Leach, and Leach into the end zone for the touchdown. Flacco nearly got planted by Jeremy Mincy in the backfield, but did a sidestep and threw for 6.
And another missed tackle in the open field. This time it's Aaron Ross. It's something I know frustrates Mike Mularkey, Mel Tucker, the entire staff. You have to make plays when you have the opportunity. It would have been a 1st down, but should have been 1st and goal from about the 3 or 4 yard line if Aaron Ross can make that open field tackle.
So here's Justin Tucker on for the extra point. Sam Cook to hold. And the kick is good. 9:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Flacco gets away from the rush, finds Vonta Leach, and adds 6 to the lead. This is the Jaguars Television Network. Baltimore with a 20-3 lead, 9:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter, an 11-play, 80-yard drive for the Jaguars. And they've added to that lead 20-3. Take the hassle out of tailgating with the Jaguars Cabana. The tailgating cabanas are available for home games. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/cabanas to book yours today. Not the way Mel Tucker's defense wanted to start this 3rd quarter, Tony Baselli.
No. Joe Flacco's been hot tonight, and he has had time, and when he has time, he has found open receivers.
Kickoff, driven deep. Parmalee, 7 yards deep. He's going to bring it out. Parmalee broke a tackle. Parmalee to the 30. Jalen Parmalee knocked out of bounds across the 40. 2nd straight terrific return for Jalen Parmalee, who's making a statement.
Absolutely. You stole the words out of my mouth. A statement, and that's what you have to do late in the preseason if you want to get noticed. And there's a Raven on the field. We'll wait to see how he is, but what a great return by Jalen Parmalee.
47 yards. Jalen Parmalee gives the Jaguars good field position, down 17. Baltimore 20, Jacksonville 3 as the Ravens trainers attend to Emmanuel Cook, who got hurt on that kickoff return. Keep up to date with everything Jaguars at jaguars.com/connect. Sign up for newsletters and stay connected with the Jaguars on Facebook, Twitter, and jaguars.com. And Emmanuel Cook, the 3rd-year man out of South Carolina, who was signed last November by the Ravens and played 2 games. You'll see him right in the middle of your screen, right there. Got popped by what it looked like Rashean Mathis, who came up with the block, and Emmanuel Cook is being helped to the locker room.
And it's tough to see who it was. I think that was 17, not 27. Chaston West. And I only say that because I can't imagine Rashean being out there.
No, I can't either.
On kickoff return. And I saw the 7, so I do believe it was Chaston West. And you hate, well, you hate as a player, as a fan, everybody does when you see that cart come on the field and have any player, whether it's on your team or the opposing team, have to be carted off. It's a bad feeling.
We have confirmation it was Kevin Elliott.
Kevin Elliott, 87.
Who came on the hit.
We knew it was a 7.
Yes.
And Kevin Elliott fighting for that 5th or 6th wide receiver position, and Mike Mularkey told us it's going to be special teams that decides that battle. And I know Kevin Elliott has been outstanding so far this preseason on all the special teams. He's a physical guy.
And those are the dates that those guys are keeping their eyes on. August 27, Monday and Friday of next week, when roster cuts have to happen. On first down, to give up the middle, and a pickup of about 3 yards to the 43-yard line for Jalen Parmalee. Another guy who's going to be keeping a very close eye on next Monday and next Friday. Roster cut down dates looming, and that's why this third game is so important, Tony. It's a chance to show what you can do with that cut looming.
Well, and a guy like Jalen Parmalee, he's getting an opportunity because of another injury to Keith Tostin, who is playing outstanding. That injury is going to allow a lot of playing time for Jalen tonight.
2nd down and 7 from the 43-yard line. Gabbert under center. Straight drop for Blaine Gabbert with time. Looking for LaRon Robinson. A flag is thrown and the pass is incomplete. At the 35-yard line, John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh's yelling. He's looking at the ball. John, he can look at the ball, but he can't mug the guy with his other hand. That's what it looked like from up here. Blaine Gabbert hanging in the pocket, delivers a nice ball, man-to-man coverage. Well, John Harbaugh might have been right. I apologize, John. That looked like pretty decent coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. Penalty be enforced for the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
There was hand fighting by both guys. And John Harbaugh, if you can read lips, is saying he was looking at the ball. I thought he was wrong initially from up here, but after looking at the replay, I got to agree with the Ravens coach.
It's impressive how he can make his eyes stretch out like that, though.
He has big eyes. That's when you know he's serious.
From the 35-yard line of the Ravens, Jags will take the benefit of the penalty.
Absolutely.
And start off now 1st and 10. Parmalee the carry. Hole up the middle. Parmalee with a first down into the secondary, and Parmalee down to the 21. A 14-yard burst up the middle for Jalen Parmalee.
This is an outstanding job by Evan Britton and Cameron Bradfield on the backside, and then Mercedes Lewis just taking McClellan and drive blocking him. That's what they call a pancake, throwing him on the ground, and it's the backside backing of the guard and tackle, Evan Britton, Cameron Bradfield, and then Mercedes Lewis doing what he does as well as anybody else. And you could see the seam open up, and Jalen shows nice vision, breaking it back, getting upfield, shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and explodes for a big run. And the delay, as you can see, is one of the Ravens, number 24, Corey Graham, the cornerback, slow to get up.
This is the Jaguars television network. 20-3 Baltimore with a lead. 8:03 remaining third quarter. First down and 10 for the Jaguars from the Ravens' 21-yard line. Jaguars trailing by 17. Parmalee the carry up the middle, and Jalen Parmalee will dive forward to the 19 in the arms of Paul Kruger, and it'll be 2nd and 8 for Jacksonville.
And now Jacksonville going with their own brand of hurry up, something they've been working on in the preseason, and we're going to get the first look at it.
Thomas, the receiver, in motion on the top of your screen. 3 receivers that direction. 2 receivers to the left with Parmalee in the slot left side. Everybody checking off on 2nd and 8 from the 19. Gabbert looking deep to the right corner, intended for Blackman, and the pass incomplete. And it'll be third down. Blackman well covered out there, and you can imagine he's going to garner a lot of attention as this season goes on. Be all in with Jaguars tickets starting at just $40 per game. Call 904-633-2000 or visit Jaguars.com. Jaguars sales representatives are standing by.
The last two plays shows the progression of Blaine Gabbert and the trust the coaches have in him. The first play, the run to Parmalee, he checked at the line of scrimmage, audible, something we didn't see last year, and then a little bit of hurry up, allowing him to call the game at the line of scrimmage.
Jags 2 for 8 on third down, a 3rd and 8 from the 19-yard line. Gabbert over the middle, Thomas with the catch, trying to reverse his field and get away from Jameel McClain, and he cannot. Going to be close to the first down, but looks to be about a half-yard short of the first.
Now remember, last week in this similar situation, they went for it. As we look at Mike Thomas just working across the middle, they went for it on 4th down and were stopped. This time, Mike Mularkey electing to send Josh Scobie onto the field and go for 3.
30-yard try for Scobie. Mike Mularkey said after that 4th and 1 call last week, yeah, he'd go for that if it were a regular season game too, but this one a long yard, and Scobie on to try to tack on 3 points. It's a line drive kick. It hits the upright, and it's no good. So they do not get the 3 as Scobie misses from 30 yards out.
Very un-Scobie-like. I can't remember the last time I saw him miss a ball that bad. We're looking at the snap, the hold. It all looks good. I just think Josh shanked it, and it happens to everybody. He's one of the best kickers in the NFL, and it doesn't look like anybody blocks it or gets it at the line of scrimmage. He just missed it.
I guess if you're going to shank one, better to do it in the preseason in Baltimore.
Get it out of your system.
20-3. Ravens still with the lead. Well, let's watch this again. There was some discussion during the break amongst folks on the crew as to whether or not this was blocked. If it was blocked, it wasn't blocked by much, and it didn't look blocked when we watched it initially.
Tough to tell.
New quarterback in the game, Tyrod Taylor, to throw on his first pass. Bernard Pierce with the catch, leaping into the air, and then is planted at the 27-yard line. That's a dangerous jump to make. Julian Stanford was waiting to pounce on him.
And Julian Stanford right there is licking his chops. He says, "Are you kidding me? You're going to jump when I'm right here," and he hit him right in the chops and knocked him back.
2nd and 3. The give to Pierce again, and Pierce out just shy of the 30-yard line, about a half-yard short of a first down, and now slow to get up. One of the Jaguar defensive linemen, George Selvey, still down on his knees at the 29-yard line.
And we see most of the second-line defenders in for the Jaguars now, and the second-line guys on offense for the Ravens. Mike Ryan, the head athletic trainer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, been there since the beginning. And the Jaguars doctors looking at George Selvey.
George Selvey down right now. They'll tend to him, and we'll return in a moment. You're watching the Jaguars Television Network. Now George Selvey over on the Jaguars bench after the injury, as Tyrod Taylor on 3rd down and short will sneak it forward and get the first down. The leading rusher for the Ravens in the preseason. As we watch the injury, there's Selvey right on the right side of your screen.
Oh, and Devon Drew, a backup tight end, just blocking backside, and that's a legal play. There's nothing wrong with that play, and unfortunately just hit him right on the knee at a bad time.
Now we've got a whistle and a stop in play.
You never want to see that foot planted in the turf right as the contact comes, and let's hope it's nothing serious and that George Selvey will be okay.
Tyrod Taylor under center on 1st down. Play action. Taylor in trouble. Uses that great speed to get away. Taylor, he can motor, and he's out of bounds at the 37-yard line. And one of the things the Ravens want to do more this year is utilize Tyrod Taylor more in the running game. That's why they brought in Curtis Painter, who could be sort of your real backup, so Taylor could do things like this.
Well, with about 80% of the quarterbacks in the league, Corvey Irvin would have had a sack. Tyrod Taylor just made a little moving, he was out the gate.
Pierce on the left side, cuts it back. And Pierce trying to just find any yardage at all, does not find much. Good pursuit by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you can see the defense doing a good job. They hold the point, force everything to go horizontal for the Ravens, and then as he tries to cut back, they're right there, coming from the backside.
3rd down and 4 from the 38. Over the middle, catch is made, spinning free, Laquan Williams. Williams to the 30, and Williams out of bounds. Laquan Williams with one little spin, the second-year man from Maryland, all the way down to the Jaguar 27.
I promise you a point of contention in the film room this week for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Mel Tucker will have a bunch of video of missed tackles.
That one was Kevin Rutland, who could not secure Laquan Williams. And now on 1st down, Tyrod Taylor to the left side, and that pass is incomplete, and there's a flag. Coverage out there for Jacksonville, Antonio Dennard, the undrafted rookie out of Langston.
Now, if they're going to call pass interference, the ball has to be catchable. That one sailed, unless I'm mistaken, Kevin, 10, 15 yards over his head.
Yeah, that one was not.
Pass interference. Defense, number 16. Penalty being enforced from the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
He must have a great vertical to be able to go up and catch that. And then on a serious note, George Selvey being carted off the field from the Jaguars sideline. You hate to see that. He's had a very good camp. He's played well, and don't like to see his night end like that.
1st down, Taylor throws for the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Laquan Williams, what a drive he had, muscling that one in for 6.
Antonio Dennard, the rookie out of Langston, has good coverage, and Tyrod Taylor just delivers a better ball to the back shoulder. And Laquan Williams out physicals Antonio Dennard for the catch. Nothing wrong with the coverage. You just have to finish the play.
They checked it, got the thumbs up from the replay booth as every scoring play is reviewed. No question, Laquan Williams caught it and broke the play to the goal line. And the extra point by Tucker is good. So the Baltimore Ravens have had a very productive 3rd quarter here against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Couple of touchdowns on the board, and now a 27-3 lead. And let's check in downstairs with Brent Martineau.
Well, guys, as you can tell, George Selvey carted off the field. He's out for the game with a knee. He's one of those guys, when the Jags had all those injuries last year with all of those players ending up on IR, they found George Selvey, and it looked like he was going to make this roster. He's had an outstanding camp. We'll have to check on how this injury affects that in the next few days.
That's a big loss with Lane already banged up on that defensive line. Selvey had a chance to shine in the early stages of the season. For a limited time only, Jaguars 5-game half-season packs are now on sale. Choose the games you want to see with multiple game options available, starting at just $40 per game. Call 904-633-2000 or visit Jaguars.com and get your half pack today.
And depending on how serious the George Selvey injury is, this Jaguars defense gets a little thin at the left defensive end position. We talked about Austin Lane being out. Now, if George Selvey's out, you see Jeremy Mincy. He's the one left defensive end left that remains healthy at this point. Morgan went out at the right defensive end. All of a sudden, that becomes a thin position. Has to be a little bit of concern for Mike Mularkey and Gene Smith, the Jaguars general manager.
Tucker's kickoff through the end zone and out to the 20-yard line for the touchback. 2 drives in the second half for Baltimore. A combined 18 plays, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Baltimore has had it going as Blaine Gabbert will make his way out. His opposite number, Joe Flacco, is done for the night. Flacco finished 27 for 36, 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. You see the numbers for Blaine, 9 of 18 for 90 yards.
I like this. I like this by Mike Mularkey bringing this first unit out. I think you keep them out there. You let them continue to get the work. They've had success the first 2 preseason games. They have a little bit of adversity here. But let's see how they react.
On 1st down from the 20-yard line. Lewis in motion on the right side. Play action for Gabbert. With time, open is Mercedes Lewis. Big gain as he leaps in the air and is down at the 44-yard line. Boy, every Jaguar fan in the world gasping as they watch Mercedes Lewis go flying into the air and down.
Again, a nice route combination, running Cecil Shorts running the coverage off. Mercedes Lewis going into the out pattern. Chalky Brown is the defensive back there to make the tackle. I would like to see Mercedes just run him over. I mean, Mercedes is a much bigger man. Just punish him at the end of the play.
First down and 10 after the 25-yard gain from the 45-yard line. Gabbert dumps it short to Parmalee. Good open field tackle by Omar Brown of the Ravens. And the Ravens now mixing in second, third team defensive players right now.
And here we go with the no huddle again. The one thing we haven't seen here tonight, Kevin, is a deep ball with the Jaguars offense trying to stretch this Ravens defense.
Robisky in motion on 2nd and 8 from the 47. Who do you think that deep receiver is for this team? Do we know that yet?
Well, I think LaRon Robinson's a guy who can stretch the field. Cecil Shorts has some explosion.
2nd and 8, Parmalee the carry. Couple of good blocks and a good surge forward to midfield. Jalen Parmalee with 3 more yards added to his total.
And Justin Blackman's not a burner. No, I mean, he was not. That's not his role. I mean, he's plenty fast enough, high 4.4, low 4.5 guy. And I think he's also a guy that you can stretch the field with because he has such great body control when the ball's in the air. He's going to win a lot of those jump balls.
3rd down and 5 from midfield. Robisky, the receiver, motioning at the top of your screen. Jaguars down 27-3. Gabbert standing in, throws, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Kevin Elliott, who caught the game-winning touchdown last week in New Orleans. And it's 4th down, and the punt team will come on.
Blaine Gabbert does a good job at the line of scrimmage, directing traffic. I think Brad Meester talked about that with us today, how last year Brad, as the center, had to call all the protections, the ID, the front, ID, the coverage. This year, Blaine is doing everything. He directs all the traffic from the quarterback position.
Anger to punt. Bobby Rainey waiting deep. Trying to angle this one. It'll bounce at the 20-yard line and die near the 17-yard line. Brian Anger, the 3rd-round pick in the 2012 draft, has not had his best night as a punter. The 2 previous games, he looked all-world, and this night he's looked just average.
Human.
Yeah. Hard to believe.
Hasn't been great. You can see he's the first punter in 17 years to be taken in the first 75 picks. Some people criticize that pick. I've told everyone, if he works out to be a great punter, it doesn't matter where you picked him. He's an asset to this team.
And if you can control field position with the defense
that you
expect to put on the field.
Absolutely.
From the 17, and flags fly. A little movement early.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
You know, it was interesting talking to Mike Mularkey today. Everything's been going their way in the preseason. They've looked good. It's all positive, a lot more positive than negative. I think a situation like this where you have a tough night, things don't go your way, you make some mistakes. These are great teaching moments, and it'll allow this coaching staff to ramp up the intensity a little bit, get on them, and I think it'll help this ball club as the regular season approaches.
First down and 15. Some tackles broken up the middle, and a big run across the 30-yard line for Bernard Pierce. And a first down, and tackles broken, unfortunately, has been kind of a theme of the night for the Ravens against that Jags defense.
Well, I remember last week after the New Orleans game, Joe Vitt, their intern head coach, talked about missed tackles, how they have to work on that. Mike Mularkey talked about it in our meeting today, and now we're seeing it again. Some of that's due to the limited time in pads during the preseason.
And a gain up to the 37 by Pierce, a pickup of 5. This was an intense and very short week for the Jaguars. They really went after it despite the fact that they got home extremely late last week from New Orleans and had a real quick turnaround to get here in time for this game.
And we don't want to make any excuses.
Not at all.
But it is a real factor. They went after it. The players said maybe the hardest practice they had all of training camp was Tuesday. It was like a Thursday during the regular season, and they really got after it. And I know there was some concern coming in tonight. Would the players be fatigued as they took the field?
2nd and 5 from the 37. Pierce trying to find some running room up the middle and finding it a little tougher go this time. A pickup of a little over a yard across the 38-yard line in what will likely be the final play of the third quarter.
I said it was a hard Thursday practice. Well, that's today, so I don't think they practiced on Thursday. But during the preseason, this third game, what they typically do, they like to have a typical game week. So they have a Wednesday practice, what would be the regular Wednesday practice, whether it falls on a Saturday, Sunday, whenever, and then they do the same for Thursday. Thursday is going to be the longest day for this team during the season, and they had their hardest practice this week.
We head to the fourth quarter. The Ravens with a 27-3 lead over Jacksonville in Baltimore.
Jacksonville Jaguars football, brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. EverBank, Jacksonville's home for banking, lending, and investing. Buy and sell Jaguars tickets at NFL.com/ticket exchange. Don't wait. Buyers get in and sellers get paid. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Kevin Kugler, Tony Baselli, Brent Martineau in Baltimore. I'm not so sure it's going to look that nice or be that nice when we're back here, say, in November or December during the course of our regular seasons as Tyrod Taylor scrambles up to midfield for the first down on 3rd and 3 for Baltimore.
No, it's a pretty perfect night here in Baltimore for football.
November and December,
not so much.
A little chillier.
And what a great stadium, a great atmosphere, great fans up here in Baltimore. Unfortunately, not a great night for the Jaguars.
Tyrod Taylor, the second-year man out of Virginia Tech, running the show now for Baltimore. Throws over the middle, catch is made at the 35 and down near the 32-yard line. Just sitting right over the middle is Deontay Thompson, the rookie out of Florida.
Well, we've seen this all night. Whoever the Ravens receivers are, they have found the holes in the Jaguars secondary. Mike Mularkey talked about it coming out at halftime. It's something Mel Tucker and his staff are going to have to look at and do some corrections on the tape.
On the play fake, Taylor in a tough toss, got a lot of air underneath that one.
Well, he's lucky that was not intercepted. To flip it so almost lazy to the backside across your body. That ball hung in the air quite a bit. Courtney Green broke on the ball, and if he had about another half step, he had a chance to have a takeaway.
2nd down, 10 yards to go from the Jaguar 32-yard line. Taylor. And this time complete along the near sideline at the 13-yard line. Logan Payne, who was the target a moment ago. Much sharper throw by Tyrod Taylor.
That was a nice play. And you can see why John Harbaugh and his staff like having Tyrod Taylor on this team. And you can just see the athletic ability, how he slides in the pocket. We've already seen how dangerous he is outside when he breaks the pocket. Very nice throw.
Taylor looking for Payne again. He's got him. And Payne down near the 10-yard line in the arms of Courtney Green.
He just kind of flips it, doesn't he?
He does.
I think it worries you a little bit sometimes because it just hangs in the air, but so far so good. He's been accurate. He's found receivers down the field, and the Jaguars continue to struggle a little bit in their secondary with coverage.
2nd down and 7 from the 9. On the draw, inside the 5 and down to the 4 goes Damian Berry. The tackle by DeAnthony Smith of Jacksonville as Tyrod Taylor trying to lead the Ravens to a second touchdown under his watch. Not bad numbers, 6 of 7 for 91 yards and a score.
Well, he just was picking up right where Joe Flacco left off, who was on target all night. And Tyrod Taylor just with the one miss.
3rd down and 3 from the 5. Taylor past Corby Irvin, and Tyrod Taylor takes it in for 6.
Corby Irvin's like, come on. Are you kidding me? 2 times I've been in the backfield. Anyone else, I have sacks. This time again in the open space, it's the naked bootleg. Corby Irvin reads it perfectly. He's in great position. Sometimes the guy's just more athletic and just more speed and just puts a little bit of a juke on him, and he's to the corner, and it's an easy touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens.
Now, Tyrod Taylor came in as the Ravens' leading rusher in the preseason, had over 100 yards in the preseason, averaging over 9 yards per carry. And you can see how he's getting those yards. A 10-play, 83-yard drive led by Tyrod Taylor and capped by this touchdown run. Stay with us on the Jaguars Television Network. Why not try some Jaguars group therapy this season? Bring your team of 10 or more and receive special group rates from $40 per seat. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com. Kevin Kugler, Tony Baselli, and Brent Martineau from Baltimore. It's been a rough night for the Jacksonville Jaguars, down 34-3 with 12:35 remaining in this fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor leading the Ravens offense to back-to-back touchdowns. He's got 91 yards passing, 24 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. And the Jags with some work to do after this, what they knew would be a tough test on the road against a very good football team in the Baltimore Ravens.
And it started off a little bit sloppy, had a couple bright moments, but overall, not very good.
Kickoff through the end zone by Justin Tucker, who, if you base it on what's happened tonight, has won the kicking job from Billy Cundiff for the Ravens, as Chad Henne will come out to take over for Blaine Gabbert here in the fourth quarter. 12:35 to play. Jaguars down 34-3 on the Jaguars Television Network.
Welcome back. The Baltimore Ravens beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-34-3 now in the fourth quarter. Your Bud Light play of the game, Terrence Knighton with the Ravens inside the red zone. The big sack forced the field goal early in this football game, but the defense overall had a pretty rough night, except for this guy right here. Terrence Knighton joins me right now. That was a big play for you. You're just trying to fit back into this action, and that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do as much as I can. You know, as far as pass rush, that's something we've been lacking inside last year, and we just want to improve. You know, ultimately you want to win the game, but we just try to come out here and get better, and that's what preseason's for.
They gave you the up-tempo style of offense, and they threw for a lot of yards. It's something you don't really prepare for too much, is it?
Yeah, not really. They came out, we thought they were going to try to pound us. You know, they were dumping the ball, short throws, but, you know, we just got to work on our fundamentals, coming out tackling, doing better with our eyes, and, you know, getting our hands up on the defensive line to make it easier for the guys on the back end.
Speaking of eyes, your eye looks good. You're wearing the shades for protection, of course. You have the visor. Where are you in terms of the eye from where you were months ago?
I'm close to 100%. You know, I still have some stitches in there, about probably 5 to 7 stitches, but that's for precautionary reasons too. And you know, I got another checkup appointment coming up. Everything feels good. You know, I haven't had any irritation or anything, so now I'm just, you know, focused on football and, you know, the eye's healing by itself.
Has it been any kind of adjustment just because the eye was different before to when you get out there playing, your peripheral vision or anything else?
Earlier it was, you know, earlier in camp, you know, just adjusting to the visor and, you know, breathing under it. But as far as vision, everything's fine. You know, peripheral fine, but, you know, a little bit cloudy just because of the stitches. But, you know, I probably see better than you, so it's cool.
Well, then it's pretty good. You got the most weight down that you've had in the NFL. How do you feel playing with this weight because you got the most reps tonight?
Yeah, I felt great. You know, Joe took us out. I actually wanted to go back in. And, you know, that's just from the hard work, you know, the strength coaches and, you know, my off-season work and, you know, the style of practice. You know, coach, you know, says our conditioning, you know, get in between plays, run to the ball and stuff like that. And, you know, we just take the onus in the D-line room to be the most, you know, conditioned group on the field.
It's tough sometimes when people lose or gain weight to play. Any trouble adapting to your new weight?
No, I just made sure, you know, at the same time I was losing weight, I was getting stronger in the weight room. And that's what I concentrated on. And, you know, I didn't want to just lose weight and, you know, lose my strength being a nose tackle. So, you know, I took the right approach this offseason, and it's something I'll carry on for us in my career.
All right, Terrence Knighton looking for a big year out of number 96. It's a contract year for TK.
Well, not a bad night for him as he continues his recovery.
Not a bad night for Knighton.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's very good. Not a great series for the Jaguars offense a moment ago.
Again, a drop pass by Cardy. Not much rhythm again. Kind of the story.
Courtney Upshaw capped it with a sack for the Ravens. Their highly expected defensive player and the second-round pick in the 2012 draft. Here's that play you saw a moment ago with Damian Barry, the first-year man out of Miami, picking up a couple up the middle. 2nd and 8 for the Ravens, leading 34-3. Taylor, the give to Barry again, and Barry out near the 36-yard line. 2 more for Damian Barry, and a host of backs trying to win that backup job to Ray Rice here in Baltimore, getting their looks, and a host of Jacksonville Jaguars trying to make this defensive squad with the cut-down day looming on Monday.
And not much room in there, just running into a bunch of bodies. Got D'Anthony Smith in there, a guy that I know they're expecting to flash and be a pass rusher inside.
3rd down and 6 for Taylor. And that pass is intercepted at the 45-yard line, and going down the sidelines, looking for the end zone to the 20, and coasting to the 10, to the 5, and in goes Denard. No flags on the field as Antonio Denard returns it for 6, and the Jaguars have their first touchdown.
Well, we talked about how Tyrod Taylor had been playing so well, and that was just a bad read. He never saw Antonio Denard and just floats the ball again, and a very easy interception. But after that, it was all Denard working up the Jaguar sideline, knew when to cut it back, races across the field, and after 3+ quarters, the offense couldn't get into the end zone, but the defense are the first for the Jaguars to get 6.
55-yard return for Denard, and the extra point is good for Scobie. 10:31 remaining in the 4th. The Jaguars put 6 on the board on the interception return, still trailed 34-10 on the Jaguars television network. 34-10, Baltimore with the lead. 10:31 remaining in the 4th quarter. Alongside Tony Vaselli and Brent Martineau, I'm Kevin Kugler. One play, 55 yards. Antonio Denard returns it for the touchdown, and it's a 34-10 ball game.
I got to say, honestly, that's the first time I've ever seen a graphic for an interception being 1 play in time of possession. That's good work in the truck.
Yeah.
They counted down how many seconds it took for Antonio Denard to get in the end zone. Our guys are on top of it.
And Denard obviously not running at full speed. 55 yards.
Taking his time, cutting it back, making the quarterback miss. Looking good.
Kickoff through the end zone for the touchback, and the Ravens will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
I want to know if in the truck they had a stopwatch out and actually had the time to a T.
I think they do. I mean, this is the consummate professional crew from top to bottom. They're going to make sure that they have every single base covered here.
Well,
including that.
I shouldn't be surprised.
No, you shouldn't.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Tyrod Taylor and this Ravens offense going back to work here. A lot of opportunities now for some guys in the new white Nike uniforms that the Jaguars have unveiled tonight. Try to make an impression here, including that guy, J.K. Schaefer, the rookie out of Cincinnati, trying to make this team. On 1st down, and a gain of about 5, nudging across the 25-yard line. Tackle in there by Rod Isaac, and it'll be 2nd down.
Another guy in there is Mike Harris, number 35. As we look at the replay, helmets are flying. Maybe a little bit of hands to the face, but that's all right. Didn't get called. But Mike Harris, the 6th-round draft pick out of Florida State, getting some time. I know they've liked what they've seen out of him so far.
Big hole on the right side. Damian Barry out near the 40-yard line. And a 1st down. And there was a couple of bright spots on the defensive side tonight. One of them, the return of Rashean Mathis, and he's standing by down on the field with Brent.
Thanks, guys. Number 27 has always been a big part of this defense. You got about 12 to 15 plays in, coming off that ACL injury from last December. How did you feel? Is probably the easiest question.
It felt good. It felt good. You know, it's great to be back. Great to be back out, especially on turf. If it reacts well to turf, it'll react well to anything. So I think our game plan, it was successful.
Yeah, last week you didn't play because the game was on turf, gave you an extra week. What are you looking for out of the knee to feel comfortable?
No, just trying to see how it's going to respond. That's pretty much the only thing. We know it's been responding well in practice, but this atmosphere is a little different. It's really full speed. There's nothing lax about it. You're on the ground, you're making tackles and things of that nature. So it's different in practice.
It's a pretty remarkable recovery as short a time as you have to come back, get on the practice field, and now play in a game. You look like you might be in the best shape of your life. Was that the goal coming into this offseason?
Well, I had to. I've been blessed. The Lord has blessed me to get healthy. So it was my job to do all the right things, in the weight room, in the training room, eating right, things of that nature. So, that was my job.
Baltimore's going to score right here once again and take a commanding lead in this football game. But let me ask you about this defense. You guys have had a rough night, obviously, but you're not throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the Ravens. How good are you guys on defense? I'm assuming you're a lot better than you're showing tonight.
Well, yeah, it's going to be games like this, but we definitely we're playing our defense. We really didn't game plan for them, but still we have to line up and make plays when the number is called. We did have a short game plan, only a few plays going in, and they probably game planned us a little more than we did them. But it's something that we can all learn from. So that's definitely what's going to come out of this. It's going to be some things that we can learn from and pick up, and it's going to make us better. So it's good that it happened now.
You declare yourself ready to go September 9th?
I'm declaring myself ready.
Hey, how about Antonio Denard? What a nice moment for the kid, huh?
Oh, great moment. He's a great individual. He's a great kid. I had one of our ball boys go run to their side to get his ball back because he needed that. That's his first interception, and it was an interception return for a touchdown. He's going to remember this for the rest of his life.
Rasheed Mathis from Bethune-Cookman, Antonio Denard from Langston University, guys. Back up to you.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. Well, unfortunately, while Rasheed was talking, we saw what the Ravens have done all second half, and that's put points on the board. And Bobby Rainey, the rookie out of Western Kentucky, scoots 48 yards. And Bobby Rainey's looked pretty good tonight for this Ravens squad.
He's been outstanding, but watch what happens as the ball is delivered into the flat. Missed tackle again. It has been the story all night. And if you miss an open field tackle, often it turns into at least a first down, but it's a big play because unless you have the proper support on the back half, you're out there all by yourself. And Rasheed said something. Listen, that might not have been game plan, but when your number is called, you have to make a play.
Unfortunately, Courtney Green not able to make that tackle of Bobby Rainey.
Mike Mularkey does not look very happy on the sideline. He told us today a lot of positive. The positives have weighed out the negatives the entire preseason, all of camp. My guess is after they watch the film for the first time, maybe during this Mike Mularkey time, it's training camp in the preseason, the negatives are going to outweigh the positive. But hey, that's what the preseason is all about. I mean, a lot of teaching situations. You get the film out, you watch it, you make adjustments. It can be uncomfortable for guys at times when you don't play well, but that's how you get better. That's how you get better as an individual, and that's how you get better as a team.
Mike Mularkey's, he knows this is not something that you're just going to turn the switch and all of a sudden it's a 13-win season.
Able to crack a little bit of a smile there.
Yeah, it is preseason still.
He hasn't watched the tape yet. I'm sure that smile will go away.
He's seen some good things. Jalen Parmalee with a couple of nice kickoff returns.
Very nice returns. That is very positive because that's a position they're looking for because Rashad Jennings, who they'd like back there, can't do it as long as Maurice Jones-Drew is out of camp. You don't want your starting running back returning kicks.
Well, and it's nice to have a guy like Parmalee who is experienced and has been successful in that role. We've seen it tonight. Kickoff through the end zone for the touchback. But the one thing he's not going to like, one of many I'm sure, 526 yards and 30 first downs tonight for the Baltimore Ravens.
Mel Tucker is going to be hot.
I take it you're not going to sit next to him on the plane ride home?
Mel's a friend. Think the world of one of the better defensive coordinators. I think he'll be a head coach one day. He is an outstanding coach, and he's a guy who takes a lot of pride in what he does and how his defense plays. And he's up in the box right now in the coach's booth, and he is
not happy.
From the 20-yard line, first down and 10. Chad Henne under center. Henne under pressure, and Henne sacked back inside the 15-yard line. Pocket collapsing on Chad Henne, and D'Angelo Tyson, along with Brian Hall, getting to Henne.
You know, Chad Henne's caught a little bit of criticism because he hasn't had the best preseason, and Jordan Palmer 2 weeks in a row brought the team back. But in all fairness, and Mike Mularkey had said this, that, you know, he's playing with the 2s and the 3s and isn't always getting the best opportunity right there. That's not Chad Henne's fault. He had no chance. The offensive line broke down. The pass rush was all over him.
Second down and 15. Veldman across the 20 and down at the 21-yard line. Matt Veldman, another one of those guys who's got an opportunity to make some noise at a position that Mike Mularkey's looking for, those second and third tight ends.
Well, and Zach Miller with the injury again, you have to wonder what his future is. He's been hurt pretty much the last 2 years. They love him. They like what he can do. He comes back finally tonight, gets hurt. It might open up a spot for some of these young tight ends.
Over the middle, Robisky with a sliding grab just across the 40-yard line and a first down. And there's a nice throw from Chad Henne.
And a nice catch. And Brian Robisky's had a nice training camp. You got to believe with all that he has done this preseason, he is at least in the conversation and a strong part of that conversation for the 4th or 5th wide receiver on this ball club.
Former second-round pick by the Browns in 2009. Henne's numbers last week against the Saints, kind of a rough outing, 4 for 9 in each of his first 2 games in a Jaguars uniform. Richard Murphy trying to cut it back, and Murphy out near the 44-yard line, a pickup of 3.
Kevin, you know, sticking with the wide receivers, a guy who started camp very fast and looked good even through the scrimmage and leading up to the first preseason game was Cecil Shorts. And he's been very quiet the last 2 preseason games. And with Justin Blackman coming back, he's not getting much time with the ones. Really, the 3 wide receivers instead is Laron Robinson, Justin Blackman, and Mike Thomas. And even now that the 2s and 3s are in, it's more of Robisky getting the ball, being targeted and catching the ball. Very quiet right now from Cecil Shorts.
Henne under pressure and had to just get rid of that ball. He was looking at Veldman, and he ended up just spiking it into the turf.
It was almost like a double clutch.
Yeah.
It's like he saw where he wanted to go, hesitated, and then he tried to go again, but the last second he saw something he didn't like. Maybe a defender flashed it across his face and tried to tuck it, but too much momentum with the arm going forward. The ball spikes into the ground harmlessly. 3rd down and 7. Jaguars down 41-10. There's Veldman again. He's got the first down, and Veldman upended in Ravens territory near the 36-yard line. Second nice play we've seen from the rookie out of North Dakota State here on this drive. And he's slow getting up. He stays into block. It's a delay pattern. He works into the flat. He's a big, tall guy, so you know that the defensive back is going to go low, and he tries to get that shoulder down to protect himself, but took a shot right on the upper thigh just above the knee, and that's a danger for some of those tall guys. Those defensive backs are not going to take him up, head up. They're going to try to go down at the legs.
Well, at this rate, Tony, the second and third tight end position may be won just because the second and third tight ends are the only ones healthy. Zach Potter and Colin Cloherty are about it now at the tight end spot behind Mercedes Lewis.
5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Just had an illegal substitution on the Ravens, and you're right, Kevin. And a lot of times in the preseason, and we're looking at the last play again, right on the knee, and you can see it bend inside, and
he knew it right away.
Yeah, and he knew something was wrong. He grabs the knee, and the way that bent, well, you worry about the MCL, that ligament on the inside of the knee. You don't want to speculate, but the way he grabbed it, that's scary.
Richard Murphy trying to find some running room to the outside, and he'll end up about a yard shy of the first down at the 26-yard line.
And Kevin, going back to what you were saying about the tight ends, the injuries and that creating opportunities, that's like all over the NFL. A lot of times guys get their chance because of an injury of a frontline guy, maybe a backup, and the next thing you know, you're forced into action, and that's where you have to make a name for yourself. That's where you have to take advantage of that. You hate to see anyone get hurt, but if your number's called, do something with it.
Murphy on second and short. He'll get the first down to the 24-yard line. Opener on the road at Minnesota on September 9th.
Yeah, you would expect for the starters to get very limited reps next week. I'd be shocked if Rashad Jennings even gets a carry for that last preseason game going into the regular season. Then you got to go on the road. Another young team rebuilding, young quarterback in Christian Ponder. Will Adrian Peterson be back? And if he is, at what speed will he be? Coming off the ACL himself.
Henny on first down to the right side, and it's incomplete. Henny trying to hit in stride Kevin Elliott. He came up empty.
Elliott just working the seam pattern, and boy, you'd like to see him go get that ball a little bit more aggression when the ball's in the air. You have to know where the defender is, and in tight coverage work back towards the middle of the field, and like Justin Blackmon does, just go and snatch that ball out of the air.
Well, he's shown that trait almost every catch he's made in his last 2 games in the preseason.
It's special. He has special hands. He's very instinctive. Justin Blackmon we're talking about, and then the run after the catch is so natural. And if he continues to build on what we've seen these first 2 weeks, it's going to be a very nice rookie season for Justin Blackmon.
Well, Blackman's such a target in the red zone. Last year at Oklahoma State, as you see Veldman being carted off, that cart has been putting on some miles tonight. Selvey was on it a moment ago. But Blackmon in the red zone.
Morgan as well.
Yeah. Blackmon in the red zone last year at Oklahoma State caught 83.3% of the red zone passes thrown his direction. And you can bet that the Jaguars are going to use him in the red zone frequently, as often as they can this season.
Brian Robitsky on the catch. He does a good job of working back to Chad Henning, keeping the defender on his back. Catches it and turns upfield and gets just enough for the first down.
Yeah, you like what you've seen out of Brian Robitsky in the limited time he's had tonight and what we saw from him last week in New Orleans.
He's taking advantage of his opportunity. Every time his number's called, he catches the ball. He runs nice routes. I think he's done everything they've asked him to do at this point.
From the 13-yard line, Henny 4 for 8, 53 yards. Murphy with the carry, breaks a tackle. Murphy inside the 5, diving for the goal line and a touchdown. Richard Murphy, who was on IR all of last year, gets the touchdown on the dive, and the Jaguars are on the board again.
You know, it's a game that has gotten away from the Jaguars, but if you're one of these young players and you're fighting for a job, you can't worry about the score. It might as well be 0-0 as far as Richard Murphy's concerned and everybody else out there right now. And you can see Mike Mularkey slap him in the head, say good job. Sylvester Kroom, the running back coach. And a guy like Richard Murphy getting congratulated because he's out there playing hard, making plays, doing something extra. Great effort at the end of that play to stretch across, dive, and get the ball just inside the pylon.
Scobie's extra point is good, and you saw the guys over to greet him. Pusluzny, Gabbard.
You know what that tells me, Kevin? That's a great point. These guys are still in it. How often do we see veterans during the preseason kind of mulling around the bench at the end of the sideline, not paying attention? These guys, Blaine Gabbard, Paul Pusluzny, Rasheed Mathis going to make sure the young guy gets the ball back. That's veteran leadership. They're in the game. They understand it's important for the younger guys to see the starters paying attention and involved in every aspect of what's going on.
Well, it's time now for our Bueller Player of the Game, and there he is right there, Rashad Jennings. A slow start, but once he got going in a big way tonight.
And he's just doing what he's done all preseason. Great explosion, breaking tackles. He's definitely proving that he has the ability to be the workhorse. Love to have MJD back here, one of the best backs in the NFL last year, led the league in rushing, was outstanding, one of the few bright spots for the Jaguars last year. But without him in the ball game, without him in camp, Rashad Jennings, number 23, he has let everybody know that he can be the featured back if he's called upon.
Kickoff about 9 yards deep. It'll be brought out. And room to run. And an explosion up the right side for Deontay Thompson. Upended across midfield in Jaguar territory at the 45-yard line. Mike Harris maybe with the touchdown-saving tackle of Deontay Thompson. And the Ravens, with 1:58 remaining in the fourth, have a 41-17 lead. Kevin Kugler, Tony Baselli, Brent Martineau, and a happy head coach on the Ravens sideline, John Harbaugh. Big smile on his face. He's having fun with a 41-17 lead, and he's had a fun start to his career at the helm of the Ravens. 49 wins since taking over in 2008. Only teams with more, New England and Pittsburgh, and he's the only coach in NFL history to go to the playoffs and win at least one game in his first 4 years at the helm. Curtis Painter in at quarterback now, and his first pass is caught by Matt Balasevich for a minimal gain to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 5 yards. As Curtis Painter takes over, the third quarterback, but this was the guy that'll be the answer to someday to a trivia question. Who was the starting quarterback in Indianapolis the year after Peyton Manning stopped quarterbacking the team?
He's one of them.
Yeah, he was the first of several.
That didn't work out so well.
No, it did not. He's now the third quarterback in Baltimore.
Do you really want to be part of that trivia question?
Only if it's a successful end to the trivia. Only if it is, and then that guy went on to win a Super Bowl II, which obviously did not happen.
I hope I don't offend Curtis Painter's family if they're listening in the Jacksonville area or any of our affiliates, but that doesn't look promising.
No. So Curtis Painter, after 3 years with the Colts, is here with the Ravens. And on first down, quick slant, and into the end zone for the touchdown goes Tommy Streeter. Well, that was easy for Curtis Painter right off the bench, marching 45 yards for the score.
And it was too easy. As happy as Antonio Denard was after he intercepted Tyrod Taylor, then took it back to the house for a touchdown, he is going to be disappointed, and I don't think looking forward to watching that on film tomorrow. He just got beat inside on the slant and never could catch up to make the tackle.
A rough way to end on a rough night for the Jaguars defense, as the extra point banged home from Justin Tucker. And a 48-17 lead for Baltimore with 50 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. But as we've heard from several Jaguars players tonight, and we've seen it, the body language is not as you would expect it to be if this were a regular season 48-17 game. They know it's the preseason. They know they've got work to do. And they also know that the first 2 games of the preseason weren't like this. They have to hope this was an anomaly. They can go back and correct some things and get back to work next week against Atlanta, and then in a couple of weeks when the season opens at Minnesota.
Well, you never want to make too much of a victory or too much of a loss in the preseason, but what you do want to be able to evaluate is how you played, how the team played in certain situations. What did you look like when you were backed up? What did you look like in red zone defense, third down conversions? You know, all the specific situations you're going to be in, and how did you compete? And it wasn't a great night. And you can tell by the sidelines, there's nobody over there feeling real good about themselves right now. It's a unit, a team that played well the first 2 preseason games, had mistakes, but it ended on a positive note. Tonight, it got away from them. They never really got back into the game. It was only a 13-3 game at halftime, but the Ravens dominated the first half. And then the score reflected that in the second half.
Well, certainly plenty of attention will be gotten with the study of this one. And if the Jaguars were at all overconfident from their first 2 weeks, Mike Mularkey will be able to bring them back to earth a little bit with this one when they get into the film room this week.
Oh, I promise you. I promise you there'll be some moments that will be pointed out. And there will be some people that aren't very happy with their play. And some of the guys fighting for jobs are going to be on edge. And I think you're going to see a very competitive group come out against Atlanta. Maybe not the starters, but that second and third unit after tonight's performance, they're going to understand and realize loud and clear from the coaching staff that, listen, you got one more shot to make this roster.
From the 20-yard line, first down and 10. Chad Henne, pass is tipped, and it is incomplete. Nearly intercepted on the deflection by Chavis Williams, and it's second down.
And we talked about Cecil Shorts hasn't been targeted much, hasn't done much. He was targeted in that play, but had to turn from wide receiver to defensive back and watch him go after the ball and stay in the play, not give up on it, fight, and ended up knocking the ball out of the Ravens defender and giving them another chance and keeping the interception off of Chad Henne's ledger.
Second down and 10. Murphy planted at the 20-yard line.
I don't like all this jumping.
There's a lot of it tonight. Ricky Brown on the stop there.
And there's a Raven down back in the Jaguars backfield, slow to get up.
Stevie Baggs, first-year linebacker out of Bethune-Cookman.
But we haven't seen it end well for any of the guys who've jumped. We saw Richard Murphy there. I held my breath as Mercedes Lewis decided to jump over a man that's a third of his size that he could have punished. And then you saw the Ravens, I can't remember who it was, but Julian Stanford out of Wagner came and walloped him. So message, stay on the ground.
Yeah, keep your feet on the ground. We talked earlier about some of the position battles that are still being eyed, wide receiver, tight end, but that interior, the defensive line, is one that Mike Malarkey pointed out with us earlier that they're really keeping an eye on it. And I think that's an area tonight where you saw a lot of positives from the guys, not only in the front line, but the backups. We saw some good stuff from DeAnthony Smith, Terrence Knighton,
They're
obviously.
very deep, very deep at the defensive line, and there might be a good player or two let go because of the depth.
Now, the one thing that concerns you, the fact that you saw Aaron Morgan and George Selby both leave on a cart from the defensive ends
and
position.
They're very thin at defensive end. The depth at defensive tackle is nice. You wonder if any of those guys could maybe bump outside and play a left end and run down situations. Tyson Alualu might be able to do that. But if you're as you look at this Jaguars defense, the one position they're very thin at is defensive end, and it's because of injuries.
A rough night comes to an end for Jacksonville. The Jaguars fall tonight on the road, 48-17. Jacksonville now 2-1 in the preseason. Back to wrap things up in a moment. Stay with us on the Jaguars Television